show. Here we go, everybody. Sit back, relax, as we have a kind of a funeral moment for the origins of this show. That'll all start right now in 3, 2, 1.
You don't look so good. Take care of those wounds before you bleed out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Core. That's right. This is Core for July 8th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson with Beau Schwartz and John Jagger. As you can hear, our intro music is a little reminiscent of a time past. Listen to this last part. Oh, I love that last bit right there. We got news about Heroes of the Storm today because, well, it's in the news, and something happened, and it's kind of a big deal, and it made Beau sad. To the point that his hair is covering one eye and he's wearing a hoodie.
I mean, I think arguably it's not a big deal. It's so an unbig deal except for the people it matters to.
Yeah.
And today it just feels like a funeral, man. Into the Nexus.
Yeah.
We have friends over there. Kyle Ferguson, Garrett Zerl announced the end of their run doing a Heroes show. I think they're not the last ones. I'm sure there's still others. I know there's Q for Fun and stuff, but they were very prominent, very well liked by the development team. Mm-hmm. And they ended up stopping their show, sort of similar feels as to when the instance wrapped up. And,
well, the good news with them is it's kind of a timing thing because they were, I mean, maybe I'm not supposed to know this. I think.
Yeah, they didn't announce things yet, so don't. Yeah,
I won't say anything.
Scott's like, I'm going to announce it here for
But they did talk about, the feed is still going to be up, and they're doing a new thing, and they have 2 weeks. They're taking 2 weeks vacation, and then when they come back, there'll be more to announce. But what they're doing is not over. Shades of what we went through in 2018, but they were longstanding holdouts, and anyways, that there's a sadness associated with that.
Sure. Sure.
I got to know you because of them.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't an Into the Nexus listener, I wouldn't have played with you guys and would not be doing.
Oh, I didn't know it came that direction. That's cool. I thought it was from the instance.
Yeah, I was a patron, and they needed someone to fill that spot when you were playing with Jeff Kanata and Van Skyhawk, Eric Van Skyhawk,
yeah.
and those guys. And I think you wanted to beat Jeff Kanata really bad.
Oh, I did really bad. Yeah. I was just on his show.
They had a spot, and they were like, well, we got this guy Gorath who wants to play. And I was like, sweet. And it was just such an honor. And I expected to play one game and move on with my life. Or not move on, but, just...
Sure, that's all it would be.
Yeah.
But here you are now.
So it's great. And so, it just means that show means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And obviously, we do things with Garrett and Kyle in and about podcasting space, so they're good friends. And so, anyway, sad to see that sort of...
Sure.
Still wrap up in the context of which the news is they issued a formal press release on a Friday, which is where you put the shit news you don't really want to hit the news cycle, right?
Yeah.
On a Friday, they're like, by the way, BT Dubs, we're treating, thanks for playing the game. Love you guys. We're treating it the same way we're treating StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
They didn't even formally announce maintenance mode. The cash shop will still be open. The game will still be running, of course.
Rotation of heroes. They're not giving all the heroes out or anything like that. Yeah. They're just letting it run.
No, they still want to make money.
Yeah.
But it's just what I think what is sad about it, obviously it ending is not desirable from people in the community who made friendships and who just really loved that game and it's the way they continually treat that game that just pisses me off so infinitely.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot from listeners in the chat room. It might show up too. It's a business. They got to move on. They can't be spending their eggs in this thing. What do you expect? Money's where they're going. They built a community of people and then just basically just shit on it. What if I invited you to my house for dinner? And then I fed you chips, and I was like, "Okay, get the hell out." They're like, "Well, it just feels they never bring it up at the BlizzCons anymore.
Yeah.
It's always left off of things. They treat it so badly."
Yeah.
And it actually, maybe it's not a huge community, but Blizzard is a quality first, a community-oriented thing. They treat it with such absolute disregard that their own developers, like you said, tweeted today that I don't like their messaging because it feels like there's this. It's like the redheaded, it's the kid. It's Harry Potter. It's the kid you keep in the basement. You don't show when guests come over because they got boogers in their nose all the time. It's like, I don't know, like, but
Yeah.
it pisses me off, and I'm just like, ugh, like, and so just that's why I'm feeling dark and gloomy, and I got my hair down. I'm like,
emo.
my
Gonna listen to some Cure
Heroes
later.
hoodie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Look, if that dinner at your house is ketchup chips from Canada, I might still be down. I might be okay with it.
You might be okay.
Those are
no,
really
but you know what I mean. It's just with such blatant disregard, like the overall company has treated that game, and I just hate it. You know, I was on the Wizards of the Coast site, going to take a look at Magic the Gathering Online, see how that thing's still running tournaments. The trade bots are in there. That thing's supported, and you know there's programmers working on it because it's up to date with the latest cards and all the business. No one talks about Magic the Gathering Online. You hear about Arena. I'm like, there's a company that supports its community. I mean, D&D and all that, like, recognizes that they've built communities, and Blizzard has taken the communities they've built up and absolutely just opened their anus and shit every possible piece of poo they could on it.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating to see,
Yeah.
you know, and it's also kind of in the context, and we'll talk about a little bit later. I really did not like Mike Ybarra's interview at the LA Times this week. But you know, the it's just yeah, I'm sad. Anyways, you know,
It burns your
this
cheese.
is a hero shower.
Yeah,
To start off as a hero show, it's just important to me. I was streaming it this week. I miss it. And when I start, I don't think about it that much anymore, so it doesn't bother me. But when I really start to think about it, like the flames grow on my back, and I get
You're like your ultimate. You have an ultimate, and you pop your ultimate hitting your Q right at the right moment, or R, I guess. So I don't think any of this is wrong for you to feel this way. I certainly feel shades of this. I think it did feel kind of like the writing was on the wall. John was saying pre-show that you thought they'd already put this in maintenance mode. So in some ways, this wasn't a surprise.
I got that wrong. Apparently, I thought when they announced that for StarCraft, I thought that for Heroes. I mean, I think they did have a formal announcement of like rolling back support, and I think a lot of people said it's in maintenance mode, but I don't think Blizzard officially said it.
Yeah.
And as a result, I thought this had already happened, and so seeing it was kind of like an announcement of a thing that I already thought existed. So it didn't really hit super hard for me because I feel like I had already kind of been there. But I do think for a lot of people, I do think this, you know, the game's not over. You know, it's up and running. It wasn't like, hey, we're pulling the plug. You'll never be able to play this game again. It was sort of just a confirmation of, hey, there's not going to be anything new. But I think the reason you see so many people kind of, you know, in mourning or, you know, saying goodbye to the game or reminiscing or, you know, even packing the bags on their shows and things like that is I think a lot of people held out hope or said, you know, I can accept what we have. And I think that this sort of thing gives people an off-ramp for the game to finally go, okay, I can reconcile where this game's at.
Yeah.
Like they have said it, what I've suspected, I now know is true, and this is where we're at, and this is what's going on. And okay,
there's a bit of that.
Or,
I also
you know,
think
whether
that,
you feel good about it or not, you can let it go.
Sure. I also think that there's a sign here that maybe Blizzard doesn't actually know how to make a long-running community-based, to use Beau's words, maybe another term would be games as a service type thing. I don't think they know how to do it. And the reason I don't think they know how to do it is they could have kept this going. I'll bet you money if there was a small company called the Heroes of the Storm team and all they did was make this game and focus their time on it, that it's profitable in that regard. It's profitable enough to have a company make this game and continue to build on it. Is it profitable enough for something as big and gargantuan as Activision Blizzard? I guess not. Clearly not. But there's a world somewhere, there's a reality somewhere where this game continues on and is a profitable, growing concern that they continue to build and make. I don't think Blizzard has the constitution for it anymore. Now, you could say, well, Scott, if this had been a runaway hit and just clobbered both Dota 2 and League of Legends, we'd have a very different conversation right now. Probably, you know, like that would have probably made the difference. But I don't think Blizzard I think Blizzard's past the point where they can make a middle-sized game and support it. Like, I don't have any confidence in that now. So whatever they announce next, like Overwatch 2 is, I'm excited about that game, but I don't have any faith that that's like they've got that figured out yet. How to add on to it. And Overwatch 1
they haven't done a good job of supporting any of their games. Like even Overwatch, and we make the joke here because I'm a firm believer, and I'll just say it. I've alluded to it. Let's be blunt. I think Overwatch in a big way was one of the nails in Heroes of the Storm's coffin. I think some of it was how they marketed that game. Like, I think the game is genuinely good. I think that if more people had tried it in the right mindset, I think it would have been a huge hit. And I think one of the nails in the coffin is Overwatch. I think both games, when they ultimately came out around the same time, betas and actual launches. And one of those games got all the attention and the focus and all the glory, and that was Overwatch. And I think it cast a very big shadow over Heroes. Yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of Overwatch for that reason. But even the game we prop up as the quote-unquote golden child of Blizzard, like, even that game hasn't gotten support in a long time because they're working on Overwatch 2. Mm-hmm. But okay, like, that's been a while, and it seems like they don't even know what that is, and they stopped supporting it to do that. Yeah. You could make the argument that Overwatch is in maintenance mode right now. And I don't think that Blizzard has shown long-term support very effectively of any of their games, except maybe World of Warcraft. But even that, I think you could argue, has certainly had problems of Blizzard's own making with how the game is supported.
Yeah, it's in a maintenance mode of its own definition a little bit. Like, it's in a World of Warcraft loop that is not thrilling players, but it's making things run smoothly on their end, and I don't think that's how you make an innovative experience. Like, I'm more worried now than ever about, I guess I'm less worried about Diablo 4. It seems like they've got a pretty good plan, but I'm more worried about that survival game they're working on. Does it have a name yet? I can't remember. They had a name for that thing. No. But that's a kind of game that if you got to hit the ground running, do your best, patch, update, change, add on. Like, if they want that to be one of these things, they're going to have to show extraordinary commitment to it. It's got to be more commitment than they showed to Heroes of the Storm.
Well, they're quick to dump and run. Like,
yeah.
I don't like that's. Yeah, like Diablo 3. Oh, you know what? Dump it.
Yeah,
Heroes, dump it.
Some seasons here and there.
Overwatch. Do you watch? Overwatch 2 gets some success for a while, doesn't make it. Dump.
And you say you're not worried about Diablo 4, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Scott. I think more of that comes from you wanting Diablo 4 to be good than actual. Like,
I 100% agree. I believe that too. Like, I don't think I'm basing this purely on what I want to see happen and not.
It'll be good because if I will it hard enough, it will happen.
Yeah, like I feel like, I mean, there is some momentum there certainly, but I don't know. And I know even less now because of all of this. Like, what is even? Man, it's so weird to ask this. What even is Blizzard now? Like, what is this? Are you guys? What are you making? What are you doing? Okay, well, Diablo 4, cool, but what? On the whole, what are? I don't know what they are now. I don't know what they are.
That lead dev, I think his name's Sean Gibson, who was part of that survival thing. Allura brings up in the chat. He's left the company, by the way.
Oh, I thought this was his big.
Yeah, I remember him reading a tweet like, I remember pitching this. I wanted to do this, and then he's out. Oh my god! Like, as of this week, he's gone.
I didn't know that. See, that gives me all kinds of reasons to worry that thing's not ever going to see the light of day.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Chris Benson being like, expansion coming out. Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Like, it's just the timing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're trying to. Like, for better or worse, the lead dev's kind of an important ambassador for the product. That's a community focused thing. Like, I feel like it's the Activision side of things that doesn't get that the role that these lead developers play in community based games. Like, the FF14 guy is a good example. He's not just a game developer; he's a priest. Like, he's there. Like, no, like, seriously, these game devs playing these leadership roles. And I think that kind of thing was started by Blizzard with Mike and with Chris. Like, that maybe they don't realize it, maybe they felt it was overblown, but these communities have leaders. And these games have communities, and they're perceived as leaders. Ben Brode is the face of Hearthstone. He's the priest. And now all of a sudden, maybe I shouldn't say priest. I should say something cooler because, priests have not a great reputation. But
No,
although
sometimes.
Blizzard
Well, neither do Blizzard devs, as it turns out.
Okay, hang on. It's a different name. What's
Oracles.
Give me a Warhammer thing.
Figureheads.
Or figurehead or oracle, like an oracle.
No. Spiritual leader. It is
Okay,
spiritual.
sure.
It is a community. Let's just say community leader. I feel like community leader sounds like such a lame thing that it doesn't evoke the kind of power that someone has when they lead a community with their voice and their presence. And Blizzard games were shepherded that way. When Dustin Browder, we loved him in Heroes, and when he left, we were sad. But we got Captain Adab. We're like, oh, sweet. We got a replacement spiritual leader, a sheikh. Let's just go with Islam. We got a sheikh or a rabbi. We got a game rabbi.
I don't think shake is a different thing, isn't it? It's not like a
No.
That's what you get at McDonald's.
Well, a Sikh or a sheikh. I don't know.
I don't think pronunciations are interchangeable depending on how you feel.
All right, can someone look that up while I talk?
I know there's a sheikh, but I think it's a leader in
I think
Arab
it's
culture,
SH,
but not.
Yes, in Islam, the spiritual leaders are either Sikhs or sheiks. I can't remember.
Are you? No, Sikh is a whole different religion. You're thinking of Amans.
I'm glad you picked something you were an expert on.
Hey, no, I have. Excuse me. I've fasted for Ramadan several times. I know about the 5 pillars. I'm not Muslim, but I was in a relationship with a Muslim woman, and I've observed my fair share of things.
Did they tell you about all the sheikhs?
Yes, pretty sure.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I have that wrong. Probably Imam. Imam. Is
Imam.
Imam.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking of something different, a Sikh maybe from something else.
Yeah, Sikhs are those cool guys with the cool turbans.
Yeah. Anyways, inshallah. But all right, the Imam. Yeah, let's say Imam. The game Imam.
Electric Bomb. Yeah, got it.
Is an important part of leading the community, and Blizzard set that standard. And the audience for Blizzard has come to embrace that as part of fandom of a game, as part of the direction it's going. And there's just very little of that now. There's always a new face. The faces tend to go. Like even the Diablo lead, we got, I can't remember, I think his name's Luis. I'm just worried about naming anything now because it's going to be wrong. But remember, Diablo 4 trailer? It's like, wow, that is awesome. And the lead comes up and like, this is our Imam. He's going to be with you here to launch. I'm going to place my trust in him. We are going to go great places. And he's gone.
Yeah, he's out.
How are we supposed to get enthused and feel like we're in a community when people are like, I'm leaving? A good example is Greg.
Greg Street? Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to call him Ghost Walker, but it's Ghost Crawler.
Yep, you're right.
Or Greg Walker. My brain. Oh, jeez.
Greg Walker. I like Greg Walker.
I'm in mourning, guys. Please.
It's all right. Greg listens to the show, so he'll probably enjoy Greg Walker if I had to guess. He'll enjoy it.
But Greg is an Imam. Like the game, they've shown nothing of the game, and people are out here like, this Riot MMO better be good, dog. And he's like, well, we're trying, he's out there leading already, and he's probably gonna move on and not be there forever. Like, I don't know what his career plans are, but he's going to hand off custody to someone that is trustworthy as well, that handing off. And if you look at the way the Blizzard corporate structure operates, there's no value placed in that whatsoever. It's just any other game company, basically.
Top feels right now.
Blizzard is the one that pioneered these leaders. And even someone like Phil Spencer gets to feel like a bit of a gaming imam. He's filling that role of being a community leader. We're gamers. Trust me, when I say we're just trying to do what's fun for you and what pushes tech forward, and that's all the difference, man. And so when the Sean Gibson guy leaves, then you're like, well, clearly it just sucks, man. It
does
just
suck
because
it sucks. Not only all of this aside, even if you just look at it from a purely gameplay perspective, it's the best it's people are gonna be pissed, probably me saying this again, but it's the best MOBA there is. Like, fine, like your other games, whatever. They're obviously going to be playing those games a lot longer than you may be playing Heroes. But at the end of the day, I had so much more fun in this game than I did any of those, and I have no desire to play other MOBAs. I don't. I want to play this. That's it. It's the only one I wanted, and now it's in some kind of weird mode, and everything in that announcement just came off as sour sounding. Like, to our Heroes community, we say thank you. You continue to be one of our most passionate communities. Really? Well, if you've really felt that way, I feel like you might be doing something more than just, well, we're putting it in, it's like grandma's going to the home. She'll be okay. You can visit her, and pay for the stuff still. So,
and give her money. It's a reverse grandma.
Yeah, reverse grandma. We all end up with a reverse grandma.
Yeah, it was just the absolute bare minimum. Like, I think a community conscious person in the role there would say, we're sunsetting Blizzard. Everyone knows it. That's going to be the perception. They could have put a video out or done some sort of production or something honoring their community, right? Like, we've gotten together on our shows at various times and lamented it and then moved on. The company has no respect.
Well, maybe they just wanted to rip that
community
Band-Aid.
they created. They're like, okay, get the hell out of here.
Maybe they just wanted to rip that Band-Aid off and be done, Like, I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything in the middle. I'm just saying, like, there are situations in life where you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And that's usually individuals saying that, not a company who can have a whole board meeting about what they're going to do. And I'm not excusing them, but it does feel like they were just like, oh, rip it off and be done. Let's move past this. It's already kind of in maintenance mode. We'll make it official and move on.
Yeah, well, they're not. They're on. I don't know. We'll talk about how well they're doing, which kind of sucks because you want to say like they'll reap what they sow, but that clearly is not going to be the case anyway.
Not immediately anyway. In the long term, though.
Basically, it's like just. It's like when you had a bad breakup, but you were good for a few years, and then you saw them again, and it all comes flooding back in.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's
there is a bit of that.
That's what it's like for me today. I'm right back there in 2018, like as mad as hell.
Yeah. That was a rough year for this. Although I'd go back to 2018 now. 2022 is not so great. Anyway, so yeah, that's the essentially the end of the game. You can still play it. All your stuff's still there. They're giving away a mount, some kind of spectral lizard thing. Let's see, where is it? The Epic Arcane Lizard mount. Next week, you'll all get that for free with a patch if you log in. I'll probably do that just because I don't know, why not? Log in and get it.
I feel like you should have it.
Yeah. I feel like I paid enough and spent enough time in that game. I deserve a free mount.
Yeah. Well, a lot of money in that game.
Yeah.
I think the thing was that was a rare mount because it was only earned in ranked, like first season.
Oh, really?
Highly desired one, something like that. Yeah, it's like makes cool rainbowy colors or something.
So they're letting us have the JPEGs, at least one JPEG for free. That's
yeah,
good.
They're like, sorry, your uncle died. Here's a JPEG.
Wow.
That's what that letter read to me like.
Yeah.
Like, we do a eulogy, bastard?
Anything? You want to say anything about this?
Like, they deserve to get, like, whoever came up with that as a plan, like, I don't know. Just, I don't know.
We're gonna get into it in a minute, and I don't necessarily want to spoil a different news story, but like,
let's move on.
You look at what FromSoftware did for a person for being an ambassador for their game, and you think Blizzard couldn't find some way to actually pay tribute to a game that still had a bustling community.
Yeah, no,
maybe not the one they wanted, but
the one they had. No, you're not wrong. Like 100% they could have done this. And this is the kind of stuff they did used to do. I was a direct recipient of that during the instance days, during the heyday of that. 2008 through, let's say, 2012 was kind of the hot zone. And in that zone, they were reaching out constantly, and you would suddenly, even something as simple as the Diablo team once sent me a skateboard that had Diablo, a big thing of Diablo painted on it, and all the signatures of the dev team. Like, no other reason except to say thanks for being part of the community. Like, I'm not saying
I've got
that
a
this is
mini version of that orc statue that they have on their campus from being a subscriber to WoW, and it was during a lull in WoW, and they just sent out an appreciation to anybody that had been subbed from the beginning as a thank you for being supportive of their game.
They used to do this stuff.
It's not above it.
No, they used to do this stuff. They used to do it on the regular. And I'm not saying that that's everything here. That isn't. I think the game and its players matter more than what influencers / content creators did. But there is just a feeling of like, I thought you were my dad and you left me on the edge of the street with my baseball and no one picked me up. It's kind of this weird abandonment feeling. I felt that way in 2018 and I definitely feel it now.
And they continue to do it. Like it's been like they keep giving. Oh, by the way, like we know that Heroes is already in maintenance mode. Like what you've had like 2 updates for it. Like no shit, almost you want to say.
Yeah. No new heroes since what the stupid.
But,
Kroger,
whoever you have left over on the Heroes team,
Kroger,
give them 100,000. Say like make a video and like get talk to some people. Like let people pour out their love. Like just something, anything. Like
what's the name of the damn character? Kroger, Hoger,
Kroger,
Hogger. Oh gosh.
Oh, I was
Kroger.
Yeah, I was like, what are you listing
that
grocery
awful
stores?
Noel Kroger.
Are you listing grocery stores?
That is what it sounded like. I could not get freaking Kroger out or freaking Hogger out of my head.
Kroger. That's in China. He's called Kroger.
I just spent like a gnarly 24 hours with the like worst vaccine reaction ever, and I feel like I don't know anything on the other side. I feel like I don't know anything.
You're doing great, buddy. Keep it up.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Here.
Thanks, man. Well, anyway, Heroes of the Storm, maintenance mode. That's the way it goes. Let's get to the rest of this stuff. All right, so one thing I wanted to mention at just the very top of the show, I think we all dabbled early on when this thing hit Game Pass back in the day, and there was some excitement around Outriders, kind of a looter shooter deal. Some compared it to Destiny. I don't think that's a fair comparison, but whatever. Anyway, it was a thing. And then I just kind of fell off of it, even though I really enjoyed it at the time. But there just seemed like it'd be an attitude about it, and people were being pissy about it, or I don't know what the deal was.
My history with this game, I haven't played it, but this is a game that got me a lot of negative feedback from this show because I said, of course it failed. It looked like it was going to fail from minute 1, and it's unsurprising that it was received poorly, which I still stand by.
Well, it didn't fail, for the record. It's got a excitable player base that's stuck with it.
I thought we had an article about how it didn't meet expectations even with Game Pass.
Square Enix dumpstered it.
Yeah, well, Square Enix says that about everything, though, as we've learned.
That is true. Yeah, that is 100% true.
Yeah, you think Blizzard's weird. So anyway, it's been going strong, and they had a big update come out, and I just wanted to put it out there that I played a bunch today while I was sick, and it's fun. It's real good. Yeah. It's called Worldslayer now, and it's called Outriders, Worldslayer. And they added a whole bunch of stuff and put in a bunch of quality of life stuff and some transmog stuff, which made me think of John. And man, it plays good. That game's good. I like it.
Oh yeah, I think I might queue it up for an install because it didn't run that great on my PC.
It will now.
Before, and it'll run a lot better. So
yeah, you should. You should check it out. And the patch I'm mentioning, this Worldslayer content, is all free. It's not DLC or anything. It's just
it isn't an X-Pack. It's just free DLC.
Just a free update. Shit. Yeah, and it's good, super good.
Man, they did better than Heroes of the Storm. They basically canceled this game and then gave the DLC for
gave
free.
It a whole update.
All Heroes is like, hey, you get them out.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. So I did that because I didn't know what else to do today while I was trying to convalesce, and I did that. So a lot of fun. All right, let's get to some stuff here.
Chad says it's $40. Is that true?
The game is if you don't get it on Game Pass or don't already own it, but the update is not. The update's free. I got it today.
Really?
Yeah. Well, on Game Pass it is. That's where I'm playing it.
Nobody's believing you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Game Pass.
So I own it outright. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, but if you own it, I think you get it.
Yeah, the Worldslayer upgrade, $52.99, mostly negative on Steam.
Well, wait, how come Game Pass got it then for free?
Well, so Game Pass usually doesn't do the DLC. Usually it's a buy more, but maybe that was something they did different.
Yeah, I got it all.
But everyone's saying it's $52 for the World Slayer DLC. Well, maybe I won't be installing it.
Maybe you won't be. Yeah, at that price, maybe not.
Guess what? Don't worry about it. Nobody else will.
That's not true. People are playing that game. There's plenty of people. Look, there's probably more people playing that than Heroes, which bums me out to even say it, but probably. There are more people.
A lot of it is just they're saying it's really poor value for the money, but I think it's because it's 52. They try to do the Destiny thing here and charge $52.99.
Yeah. I thought that was just
I'm looking at it right now on Game Pass. I can get the game included with Game Pass, but if I scroll down, Outriders Worldslayer, $47.99 with Game Pass.
With Game Pass. So maybe what they've done, I'm playing. I get okay. So you get a bunch of the features as part of it, but I don't have, because I'm not there yet. I don't have the campaign content. That must be what that is.
That's probably what it is.
Okay.
It's probably they did it. A lot of games will do an update and then the content is
Yeah. So all I can speak to, I guess I can't speak to the value of that content, but I can speak to the value of some of the stuff they re-rolled the way loot works. Can't say words. They basically kind of call it their Loot 2.0 sort of. And I don't know. I just had a really good time with it. So if it's, I don't know.
It's a good game. Like I thought it was good.
Yeah, I liked it.
So like I can understand why you'd say it was good.
John?
I have no opinion on the game. To be clear, I haven't played it. I'm just saying that I'm not surprised nobody else played it.
Well, hang on. All right, hang on. Since it's an issue, we got this. Let me just look at Steam charts here. Let's look at concurrence. Steam charts, Outriders. And let's see. 30-day average is about 3,000 people. So
that's,
I mean,
not too bad.
In the scale of games we're talking about, that's not very high, but it's still there are people playing it, I guess.
Sure. The review on GameSpot says the Worldslayer review pleasantly altered. That's how it felt when I got in.
That's how I feel when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah. It says, with an expanded endgame, new difficulty tiers, and new story content, Worldslayer adds a lot to Outriders, even if none of the additions are mind-blowing. But I don't know. It felt refined to me, and I enjoyed it. So far. I mean, I haven't done that much, but
yeah. I mean, there's a healthy amount of players. I'm looking at 1 year now, and it's, the 1 year average. It dipped down below, but there's still like people playing it.
I don't know why it got. I don't know why it got. I don't know why it has the ire of people. I don't understand it. Like
because it has a generic name. It looks like Anthem meets Destiny. It doesn't have anything that immediately stands out as unique. It didn't seem like it got supported. It didn't get great reviews at launch. There weren't a ton of people playing it.
Yeah.
And it just disappeared into the ether of video games.
Yeah.
Again, none of that is a statement of this game is bad. That's just the sad reality. I could say the exact same thing about Heroes of the Storm, and I love that game.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Like it's the sad reality of video games. It came out in the shadow of bigger video games. It didn't do anything to really stand out. It didn't seem to get a lot of attention. It's not in the bad titles club because I think Outriders is actually a fine title, but it's generic enough that it doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
And I think that unless the game was spectacular, it's hard to make a foothold when you have a lot of things going for the games that are the big names.
Yeah. I think what struck me as interesting about it then and now is I like the third-person combat versus first-person, and I like the ability system in the game where you do your wackiest shit because it comes fast and furious. Like your cooldown timers are pretty short, and so you're always like ripping the ground a new hole or impaling a dude or
ripping the ground a new hole. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Screw you, ground.
Yeah. Take that, ground. Yeah, I love that stuff. So anyway, well, whatever. It's a game. It exists. If you want to play it, go check it out. Check this out. Intellivision says the Amico is on its way. Do you guys care? Because I don't. I don't like Intellivision.
Amico.
So I put this in because I know you like consoles and weird controllers, and Intellivision is releasing a console Did you know about this?
No, I knew
assumed you
that. I
did.
knew something was
Yeah.
going, but they hadn't made an official announcement about when or what was in this thing or whatever.
I just thought it looked wild because it looks like some sort of weird tray, and the controllers are they look like two like weird like fish finders or something. Like it's so weird that I'm like my brain was pleasantly tickled by the device. I thought you'd be really into it. It looks like it's just updated graphics versions of Atari games essentially, like so. But yeah, so like I don't know where this fits in, but this, I don't know, it just looked neat. The controllers look neat.
They're basically doing an Atari VCS move here. Atari VCS, similar deal, where it's actually capable of running higher fidelity stuff, but then also giant collections of ancient games. I assume that these will be here as well. The problem I have with Intellivision is just that it was always kind of garbage. Like it was never. I understand there's a lot of love for it for certain people. I had one growing up. It just, it looked like shit. Those controllers were basically just data pads, and they were terrible at controlling anything. Like the soccer game I had, which was kind of a cool game, A, looks like garbage, and B, controlled even worse. So I just don't know why there's like in the modding scene, there's not a ton of love for this stuff. It's just sort of like, yeah, okay, freaking Intellivision.
All right.
It existed.
Yeah, like I can understand that. Like I said, was vaguely aware of it, and when I saw it, I was like, well, that's a wild looking system.
Pretty weird, yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird in the day. It's weird now. And they're playing, all these minis. Like I was holding up this PlayStation Mini earlier. These are all, everybody's super stoked about these right now. They love the idea of bringing this nostalgic tiny thing into your house that's even a more capable device and running 30 games off of it. There's just something cool about that. But I'm not sure the Intellivision crowd was pining for it. That's all.
I guess what's really weird about this. So this video I linked to, it's in the Intellivision YouTube channel, but it's an unboxing video, but it's not released.
Yeah,
because it's not ready. But they can unbox
unboxing a prototype, I guess.
I guess so. I guess what I'm saying is I think that's a weird decision.
It is weird.
I just think I'm like, so it's not available, but you have a fully printed box with art and like terms and conditions and warnings and shit. Like the box is ready to go. It just
yeah,
so
and there
must be
also
supply chain things or something. I guess
it could be, but there was also some controversy about how it was funded, and I don't remember what that was, but there was some kind of like weird investor stuff, and somebody got investigated for something, and it was this weird thing.
They also turned off comments. That's a weird move too.
Yeah, well, I don't know, something about it's weird, dude. Something about the whole thing is funky. I can't quite get my head around what.
Yeah,
it is,
you know what? Now that I'm watching this video a second time, I feel sort of. Yeah. I don't know, but it is a neat little device.
Yeah, it's got stuff. The games look like, oh my gosh, they got some bad ones. Like, what Dyna Blaster is basically, I think that's just Bomberman.
Bomberman, yeah, it's Bomberman. You got Bomberman.
Dino Blaster. See, this is Intellivision. This is the brand. Just weird shit named weird names, and so that if your mom wouldn't get your Atari, she got you this, and you just had
the
to
very
live with
definition of we have blank at home, and then that meme.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but yes, that is correct. All right, Gamescom coming up. Turns out people are going and exhibiting and doing showcasing and stuff like that. And here's some of the people that we know are going. Nintendo and PlayStation, they are not going to go. Microsoft is going.
Not a surprise.
Yeah. Electronic Arts also not there. But MS going, Microsoft going, Xbox stuff going, Ubisoft, 2K Games going. Here's some others. 505, Aerosoft, Amazon Web Services. AWS is going. AMD, BenQ, like we don't care about most of these because they make hardware and accessories and stuff, HyperX and so on. But some interesting publishers, THQ Nordic, Team 17.
NetEase is going to be there, so
yeah.
They said Blizzard's not doing anything, but NetEase does Diablo Immortal. So
yeah, maybe they'll do something with that. Never know.
Maybe they'll announce some new loot boxes.
Yeah. Koch Media is going. Samsung, Sega of Europe, TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok will be there.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Western Digital. Warner Brothers
Gamescom,
games.
I mean, on the theme of heroes, that used to be where some big stuff happened, and it is weird seeing no Blizzard
Probius
on
got
there.
announced there, I think.
Yeah.
Did it?
I
Oh,
didn't Kel'Thuzad get announced there as well?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
So,
But they
like-
would do hero announcements at yeah.
I want to say World of Warcraft Legion was maybe announced there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Ooh, yeah,
I think you're right.
so.
Yeah.
It was the teaser trailer with Illidan and a green gem.
That's right. Yep. And some of those guys, Chilton and those guys, kept around and talked about it. I think maybe Metzum was there.
Because that was a big year. Because you're like, they don't just announce things at BlizzCon; they did it at Gamescom.
Or actually, Metzum wasn't there because Metzum was with us at at Nerdtacular the year before that. No, a week before it. It was a week before a week a week before Gamescom's announcement. Chris was in Salt Lake at our event, trying to deny rumors and things that people were talking about with him. And we played a fake trailer for the movie and the game because I had Liam sent me some audio and played Illidan in this audio, and I could see on Chris's face that we'd maybe not crossed a line in like a negative way, but he was like, how do they know that this has anything to do with Illidan?
They know.
So he was a little freaked out that year. But no, Greg came 2017, a couple years later. So I guess Greg was already at Riot by then, I think. Right? 2014, I think he left. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because when he came to our live show and made the stink about Warlords wouldn't let you fly until end of expansion or whatever the heck it was. It was the first time they were pushing that, and everybody lost their minds. And then he quit. It's like, out of here. That's it. All right. Hey, John, what's going on in Final Fantasy 14 here?
Stupid stuff. We'll talk about it. It's dumb, but it's kind of that entertaining kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So an erotic role-playing Discord server.
Oh my lord.
bought 4 billboards to advertise a party they want to have in Final Fantasy 14.
That was awesome.
And
So cool.
and so they did. And normally that would just be the end of it, and it'd be a dumb thing that people did. But the problem is, there's a couple problems with it. One, they used Square Enix's official Final Fantasy logo for their billboard, which makes it seem like it's endorsed by the company, and it is not.
Yeah.
They also used data mined outfits for some of the models on there, which data mining and altering the game files and stuff like that is very much against terms of service.
What?
So that made a lot of the players mad, because Final Fantasy exists in a weird balance. Mods are not allowed in that game. Let me be clear. I use mods in that game.
Yeah.
It is a very stringent don't ask, don't tell policy when it comes to mods in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
You use them. You don't tell anybody you use them, even though I just did, but it's fine. And,
You're in trouble now, John. Hold on.
you don't-
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I wanted to start over again.
Hello, Japan. Japan.
Yoshi P,
You don't
Japan?
ask about it.
Yeah.
You don't tell anybody about it, and nobody knows what's on your computer. It's your business. Like,
Sure.
that's kind of the official policy. So whenever people start talking about it and making a big deal, everybody gets afraid, because all we are is like one big bad event happening, causing them to go, you know what, it's not worth it. Now we are actually going to come after you aggressively about these things in a way that we didn't before. And this kind of happened recently because there were some people streaming the game with clear modifications running. Bans got handed out to prominent streamers. They got very upset about it. It was a whole big discourse. And so the community can get a little sensitive about anybody that's like showing off modded hairstyles and, you know, data mining stuff and stuff like that. So the players got mad at this group, and this group decided, instead of going, yeah, we may have made some mistakes, doubled down and insulted everybody that was mad at them and basically told them to go F themselves.
Wow.
They barricaded their server.
So now the players have created a barricade in front of the guild house. Last time I saw people check in on it, there were a bunch of people. This was before the barricade of cat girls. But there was just a bunch of people playing dead on the front lawn of their guild house. And there was somebody, a bard, sitting out front just playing and they were just, that's what they were doing, and that was their form of protest. And
how can they actually physically block anything though? It's you clip through people in the server.
You just walk through it. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because part of it seemed like they were barricading.
Yeah, but they're you can clip through everybody. Everybody's clippable, right? I think.
Yeah. Although technically, I think what they could do is if a bunch of people that just wanted to protest the event showed up, I think there are like population limits that they might be able to hit, at least indoors.
No.
But outdoors would probably be fine. I don't know.
Okay, so it's to fill up the servers.
Yeah, it's a silly thing. The community's mad at these guys. I think it's mostly because they did modding, and because instead of going, yeah, we shouldn't have done that, they doubled down and basically insulted everybody. So it actually goes really well with what Beau said last week. You know, don't wrestle a pig. That whole business, like I think
you
that's
remembered. You remembered.
I think that's
don't wrestle
apt.
a pig and something.
Yeah. Don't wrestle a pig because you both get dirty and the pig likes it. Like
there you go.
I think this is an apt thing. I think everybody should just let him have the party. Here's the thing. Do I think those billboards will work as an advertisement? No, there's way too much text. If you've seen the billboards, they're terrible. I don't think anybody is going to show up to this party going, you know, I wasn't going to go, but I saw this billboard while I was driving. And I remembered I play Final Fantasy 14. I'm not doing anything on Friday night. I know which server I need to transfer to. I know which district I need to go to and which housing plot this party's happening in. I'll be there. like, nobody's going to do that. But what it did do is it did cause a big stink. Everybody knows it's happening. And I have to admit, even as somebody that's just like, this is so stupid, I'm like, should I go check it out though?
Kind of want to look.
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a part of me that's like, I should just go see what's happening over there. So I think in the end, it will ultimately completely work.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. That game I thought was just a big commune of lovely human beings that are nothing but kind and generous toward each other. It sounds like there's a little rift growing.
No, there's it's like when we talk about Canada.
This is a protest. This is a peaceful protest.
Yeah,
essentially,
Final Fantasy 14.
They wanted to throw a party. They wanted to throw a party, and Square Enix was like, "Don't use our assets to throw parties in our game that relies on community parties."
Actually, I don't think Square Enix.
There are rules about how parties are thrown.
They haven't made a single comment.
This is the weirdest part. I think Square Enix has been totally silent. I think it's 100% been perceived drama and perceived reactions.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It's the player base assuming, because again, based on John's earlier comments, back in the day, there were some banned streamers and all that stuff based on mods and things. So the feeling is that Square probably doesn't like this. It certainly is against terms of service. And maybe it's don't ask, don't tell for the moment. But these people are deciding that they're going to be the police. And
but it is a rift. So it's the partiers versus the narcs.
narcs and
partiers. People were trying to narc, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well you narcs can't play on our server then. Yeah. We're gonna." I don't know. I'm with the party goers, man. It's an online world. Have fun.
Yeah. I don't think Square will say anything unless they can figure out how to make NFTs out of it, and then they'll have lots to say.
I mean, maybe they quietly go after him for the billboards, but it's not going to be some big public thing. They're not going to wade into the debate on Reddit and be like, let me tell you what we're going to do about these billboards, brother. Yeah. Like, they're just going to quietly go, can we figure out who these players are? We need to stop this. Like, that's it. Yeah. That's about it.
Yep. Well, there's that.
Thanks for explaining. That's why I put it in there.
No, I like it.
It's a really dumb thing, but it's funny dumb. I love the idea that people got billboards for their stupid Final Fantasy party, which is an aspect of the game I do want to check out at some point. I tried once, but I did not go to a popular party. And
So
much
it's like
like
real
me in
life.
real life,
Yeah.
I want to blend into a party. Like I want to just be a part of the crowd. I don't want to stand out.
Same.
And I showed up and there were only a few other people. And so I stood out very much. So I just acted like I just Abe Simpson. I just went in, put my hat on the coat rack, looked around, grabbed my hat off, and walked right back out the
I
front
know how
door.
you feel, John. I've been going through a lot of that myself this week in
Yeah.
VR chat.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait to get to the VR chat talk because Beau has been places, man, this week. Places
He's
none of
seen
us have
stuff.
been. I'm
Virtually.
excited about this. All right, there's that. Hey, let's talk about Mike Ybarra again. Although you wrote Ybarra, I like that.
Ybarra?
It's A. It's
Oh,
with an A.
Barra. Okay. I
It's
gotcha.
it's fine. Look, I barely know my own name today.
You barely know your own name.
Anything.
You say that, but everybody's just going to remember the shakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You can mess up every word, and I guarantee the first comments are going to be like, "Why is Beau talking about shakes?"
Shakes. What's the deal with shakes? Making me want to shake. Anyway, Mike Ybarra defends microtransactions, saying it's only at endgame. They're earning $1 million a day right now. That's even after Apple and Google's cut, because that's how that works on those two platforms. They both get their 30%, and then the remaining 70 goes to the developer. They're making over $1 million per day on Diablo Immortal. Hasn't launched in China, where it will really do the big numbers. That surprised me. I thought it was already there.
It's actually currently blocked in China. We don't know if it's
Ooh.
ever going to launch in China.
Ooh.
Review by
Currently,
the
China
Board.
has turned around and said nay to it, which is surprising. But yeah, right now there is no official release date planned for China.
So NetEase, which
Oh, I
is
thought
Chinese
they-
based,
oh.
right? And the whole point
we're
originally.
past what they announced, and then they did a delay, and we're past, I think, the delay now at this point.
Okay. It's weird, man.
I thought there was an update on that.
He also says that.
It says
Oh, go ahead.
they delayed its release. Hong Kong, Taiwan, July 8th. Well, we're past the 8th.
Yeah, we are past the
It would
8th.
be today. It would be
They're past the 8. We're on the 8 here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're nearly past it our own selves. He reports
Okay,
that
it's just-
50% of people are playing the game that have never played a Blizzard game before. I don't think I believe that, but whatever.
I actually would think that was low, but
Really? It surprises me. I think
yeah, because it seems like a game for people that don't understand. And
yeah, but the name Diablo, that's the cachet, right? That's what
but
gets you
he's
in.
counting us too, who played it for 30 minutes. Remember, the game hasn't been out that long.
that's
So
true. I hate that I'm.
So
part of this
everyone that's in
number.
the Blizzard community or would just try, like we all tried it. So
Yeah.
we got tagged on a login. We part of those numbers.
Yeah, you're
Oh
right.
man, they got me.
They did.
My Joanna that I made.
They got you, dude. What you
Killed
gonna do?
5 spiders and quit.
But
A true hero of our ages. A crusader that went into the swamp, fought 5 spiders, and was like, I'm done.
I'm
This
out.
game's stupid.
there was one particular part of this interview that really aggravated me, though,
What's that?
and I need to talk about. So
Uh-oh, let
it's
it
an
out.
interview with Mike Ybarra in LA Times, and he's saying a lot of stuff. And far be it, I called Imams a sheikh today. Like, we've all been wrong and said incorrect things, and you don't want to get held to a full judgment based on one thing you said.
Sure.
And so I don't want to do that to Mike Ybarra. But in the interview, he says microtransactions are really only endgame for Diablo Immortal. And that is patently false. Is patently false. I was offered all kinds of things in like up to level 20 or 25 that I played.
Yeah.
Like passes, boxes for finishing levels to buy, packs, you name it. That is disingenuous. That is not real. Like, so basically, this is a person that will speak that corporate speak that is not truth, and it's noted. In Telltale when you do something like that. So Beau will remember that. That was. I remember that you said that it's not a big deal, man. It's a free to play game, and monetization only comes in at the end game, dog. You guys are all going crazy for nothing. Like, nope. There were sales offers were made, disrupting
Yeah,
my
but
gameplay.
his language allows for that, and I'm not saying he's right. I actually think it's worse that they say that
It's
corporate
false.
speak is like this, because when he says The philosophy was always to lead with great gameplay. He doesn't say the game absolutely does that and nothing else. He's saying that was our philosophy in the beginning, and make sure hundreds of millions of people can go through the entire campaign without any costs. Still also true. You don't have to pay a dime if you don't want to. He's not overtly saying we never asked for a penny, but that's, again, I think that I'm not saying you're wrong, Beau. I'm saying what he did is actually worse. I hate corporate speak.
We as players shouldn't have to jump through corporate speak hoops
false.
to try and understand what they actually mean when they say this.
I hate it.
It's actually false. No, it is actually false. We got to start wrapping our heads around the truth. When you play an RPG game, the stuff in the world that you can equip yourself with should just be there, right? Like it's a virtual world. There's achieving verisimilitude. So the stuff in there you equip, you earn, you get. So if some of that stuff, like the gems, which I was introduced to how it works, that's in the fiction of the world, gems are a precious resource. So if I want a level 5 gem and I'm presented with the option to buy it, but it's behind a money gate, then no, I can't go through the game because the verisimilitude of the game means that it is money locked.
No, I agree. You're right.
So when they say that, it is actually a lie. I think you twist truth around so much that you think you're speaking the truth and you're saying a lie.
No, I 100% agree with you.
It's a fictional world,
yeah,
and you can't say it's not necessary. Well, I'm going to decide what's necessary on my playthrough, and if it's necessary for me to get level 5 gems, because I'm not just satisfied dinking my way through, but I want to murder things. I don't have that choice to go after that unless I pay money. So
you're right.
It actually literally affects gameplay. I'm sorry, but we're swallowing horseshit.
You're totally right, and I'm not claiming otherwise. What I am saying though is, from a legal standpoint, he's not lying, and I know, and there's a difference. So let me tell you a great story about my childhood. When my sister was about 6 and I was 12, I thought it would be hilarious if I did a thing that happened. Okay, so we made a deal, her and I. The deal was, if I cleaned, what was it? Oh, if I picked up dog poo for a week, then she would do my dishes nights for a week. Okay, so we'd swap things. And she didn't think I would just do it on an agreement. She had to have a contract, my sister Wendy. All right, very professional, working psychologist now, professional woman Wendy, when she was 6 years old. So she lays out this contract and she writes it all by hand, and it's binding and has all the right language about who's doing poop and who's doing dishes. Perfectly well done. And I signed it Scott Jensen. And she didn't notice. Now the story there is, because I was being a dick, I could claim, well, I'm not Scott Jensen. I don't know who this Scott Jensen is. I mean, I'm 12, she's 6. Like, whatever. But the point is, like, when Ybarra or other corporate speakers do corporate speak, that's what they're doing. They're lying, but they are doing it in a way that they have loopholes and outs, because they're not including the moral ramifications of their lies. They're only including the technicality of their lies. That's the only point I'm trying to make, which is why I'm saying it is not only a lie, like you're saying, it's worse than that, because it dances around it. Just say it how it is, Mike Ybarra. That's all we want. Just say it like it is, man.
So I love that story, and I understand what you say. I just actually think this is still an outright lie, though. It's just it's both. Like, it's worse. It's bad. Like, it obfuscates the truth, just like your signature obfuscates the truth.
Exactly.
Right? If everyone's doing things in good faith, you signed it. But
you're right. I did it, and I knew I did it, and I knew that I was supposed to do what I was supposed to do, and yet I got out of it because I signed it with an E instead of an O. Yeah. And so she to this day is still mad at me, by the way.
I hate to judge a person completely on one thing they said, so this isn't a final judgment, because everyone's like, Mike Ybarra is probably pretty good, or, we have hope for this company. This person got onto an interview in an official capacity and said wrong information very deliberately. It is the idea that it's required for endgame only is not the case. If things are available for purchase, and the way I enjoy my game is I want to have power, then you are affecting gameplay at all levels. So
agreed.
This is a lie. This is grift, outright lie. and that reflects really bad on this person as a leader. And if I hope that doesn't happen again. And if it does, I don't know. Like we'll remember that and we'll figure out how things look later on. But that is like, and again, it's what one person said, but he's willing to get up there and essentially lie. And I don't really ever think of the things that Mike or Chris said that ever really struck me in that way. And so he's yeah, it's again on the depression train.
Yeah, the Blizzard depression train. Hop on, everybody. We got food.
Come on, be genuine, people.
The water's warm here.
Monetization comes in at the end. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna stop. I'm turning into angry man yells at clouds. But
That's
seriously,
right.
Dude, like
it's lame.
Be real. Be real.
I wish they would be a little more like just to own it. That's the mobile market. Don't try to evade it. Don't try to pretend like it isn't what it is. Just say, oh yeah, we're now in this. We're making $1 million a day, and so we're gonna justify it. So here it is. What? Just say that. I would
as
respect
much
that.
as I hate. Like it's it immediately just makes me think of the SpongeBob meme where he's all bent over and the text is all messed up. As much as I hate the excuse of like, that's just how mobile games are, at least, yeah, it is. Like, I think that's a crappy thing to say. I think that's a crappy kind of scapegoat to give yourself or to give a company, but
yeah, it's like going
also
to
not wrong, and it's
also
also
true.
not a lie.
Yeah,
it's like going to an alley and getting mugged and being like, that's just how alleys are.
Yeah, it doesn't make getting mugged okay, but it's true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Somebody in the chat room say that Polly Walnuts died today. Did I hear that?
I saw someone say that.
I don't want that. I want that not to be true. I love that.
Nobody wants that.
He's one of my favorite characters of all time. Hold on a second. I know this is a bit of a tight turn.
Yeah, 42 minutes ago, Tony Sirico, the actor known for his role as Polly, died at 79.
Boo!
Yeah, man, every day.
He's so good. Oh my gosh, the character of Polly, one of the greatest things ever done on TV.
Yeah.
That sucks. All right, well.
I want to go back and rewatch The Sopranos.
Me too.
I was just young enough when Sopranos was coming out to not, I think, fully I loved it, but I feel like I would appreciate the story overall a lot more now.
Chat room says he did
three
gangsters in a row, so I know about James Caan the day before, and he was in Godfather, got an Oscar for it, supporting actor Oscar. And then who was the other one? Who's the third one? I don't know who that would have been. I've been really I watched Goodfellas. Oh, yeah, Goodfellas. It's what's his name?
Ray
Liotta. That's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo! I love that movie so much.
Indeed.
All right, moving on to this story. FromSoftware. Okay, now let's look at a company doing a nice thing. All right?
Yeah, this is a good story. It's positive.
It's very positive. FromSoftware sends gift sword to Let Me Solo Her, a player a player you can summon to help kill Malenia for you.
Or Milena, I think. Wait.
Is it Malenia?
Because there's more than one Melania type name. There's Melania and there's Milena.
Everybody in the damn game has the same name. Like,
like
really a thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the same. Sometimes they're the same person with a different name.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes two people with two different names are the same person for some reason. Let me tell you, I don't know what George R. R. Martin was doing. But he's like, there's some things going on in Elden Ring. But yeah, I think it's like Melania or something like that. She's one of the hardest bosses in the game.
Was it Melania? He wrote all that. So
I'd say she was the hardest boss. Yeah, it's Melania.
Okay, so former
Melania
First Lady
Blade of Michaela.
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
Former First Lady Melania, hardest boss in the game. All right, anyway. Here's the deal. You don't help him or he'll fail at it. Okay, this is how this works. He helps solo Millennia 1,000 times as a naked man with a pot on his head and 2 katanas.
Yep.
And they sent him a gift sword, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think she is the hardest boss in the game. Like, objectively speaking, I debate that, but like, I think so.
Yeah.
But I got very lucky.
Yeah, some of us got lucky, but it depends on your experience with the lifesteal. But certainly fighting it as a naked man with no armor. I think even like level 1 potentially. I'm not sure the details, but in the game when you go to fight a boss, you can summon other players to just help you, and the person who helps you gets some rewards. So when you summon someone and they got a pot on their head and they're naked, you think you're getting trolled, right?
Yeah.
But his name is like Let Me Solo Her, so you're like, okay. And if you don't help him, it's basically he'll style on you like this is how good I am. I can kill the hardest boss in the game with nothing but 2 katanas and a pot on my head. And I'll do that for you because it's so hard. It's like my public service to you. Here you go, easy town.
There's your difficulty slider in Elden Ring, by the way. Did you use Let Me Solo Her?
Yeah, did you use them or not? There you go. You've all been asking for difficulty sliders. They finally put one in as an actual human being. I think that's great. And by the way, that reminds me, I fired up the remaster, rebuilt, remake, whatever version of Demon Souls, because that's comes with the mid-tier of the PlayStation Plus thing now.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see it. It's very pretty. They did a really, really nice job on making that game look good. And you can tell it's kind of rebuilt from the ground up. But yeah, those games are all kind of the same. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I know that's what people come to them for, but it's all about souls, and it's every one of them. And it's all about dying real quick until you figure out the fight. And I think what I liked about it, though, for the very brief amount of time I put in there, was felt like Diablo, but behind my back. It's hard to explain. More so than other FromSoftware games I've played.
I think there's elements of that for sure in those games. Diablo, Castlevania, lots of that DNA in those types of games.
Yeah. Castlevania.
It's why I like it a lot, but
yeah, the Castlevania vibe. I didn't even think of that, but that's true as well. And it's cool if anybody out there ends up with that plus middle tier, or the third tier, I guess, has it as well. But that's a good looking game. All right, I'm excited about this Robocop Rogue City video game. It's coming. They got a brand new Robocop game with Peter Weller coming back as the voice, the original Robocop. I couldn't be more excited about this. I'm freaking stoked.
I went through phases. I'm not in the excitement anymore because I thought about it.
Oh no! Tell me why I shouldn't be happy.
I don't want to ruin it for you though, Scott. Like, here's the problem. First of all, I love RoboCop. I've told this story. I used to walk around like him as a kid, and I would just, as I would walk through the house, I would go chuku chuku chuku, and then I turned my head and I turned my whole body to match it, and my parents just thought I was weird, and I thought it was amazing. I love RoboCop, something fierce. I think Peter Weller is great. So everything about this initially excited me. Here's the only problem with this, though.
Great 16-bit game era as well. They had an amazing RoboCop game back then on my Genesis. I played the hell out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Anyway.
But here's the issue.
Okay.
Is how do you make playing as RoboCop in a first-person shooter cool? Because he's not the most agile thing in the whole wide world. Yeah. His whole his whole MO is...
Wait, are you saying there's a RoboCop MMO? Holy shit. I'm so excited.
That sounds amazing, dude.
His whole MO is you walk in and he gets shot a bunch, but it doesn't hurt him because he's RoboCop, and then he slowly aims his gun at people and shoots them. And if you're going to be authentic to that, that's not very exciting. But if you get too far away from it, if he's all of a sudden first person shooting, rolling and stuff like that, now you don't feel like RoboCop. So you want to see, and it's in the trailer, like the green targeting reticle as he kind of does the bloop, 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 targeting people, which looks cool in a movie, sounds cool in theory. Is that going to be an annoying as shit way to play a first person shooter? Probably. It's just this weird thing of, I'm like, I know I want it.
Yeah. I 100%
bringing it back to Blizzard. I think I want it, but I don't know if I actually do once I have it.
I 100% want this. I want this. I will say that without any qualifications. I want this game. I trust them to figure it out, and if it's bad, fine. I'll say it is when I see it. But I have no early problems here with what I'm seeing. This looks really good to me.
They can mechanically make it interesting if you are a tank, but you do have, there's a limit to what can be done. So you have to do the combat chess thing and pick off the hardest targets first, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
that
like
could
a
be
shoot, like a almost like a walking shooting gallery kind of game, potentially.
Yeah. Like
It does have Ed 209 in it, which I mean, like 90% of your problems right there are solved just by putting him in there.
should make him stop motion though. That'd be cool.
Oh, Ed 209 is still the coolest looking thing.
Oh, he's amazing. And that whole
Like-
you have 15 minutes to comply, and then the guy's like, "Okay, I'm complying." You have 14 minutes to comply. It's like holy. It still gives me anxiety, that scene, because it's the moment where you realize, oh no, he's malfunctioning. He's gonna shoot the shit out of everybody in here. Oh, it's
And
so
he does.
good.
Well,
So
that one
good.
guy at least.
I love it
You
so
better
much.
do what he says. Like just
Plus, he's just
and
Peter
he
Weller,
roars like
man.
a lion for no good reason.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
oh,
That was
so
weird.
good.
But I love Peter Weller walking around going, "Drop your weapon." Burp, burpy. You know, like just his whole thing, his whole vibe is one of my favorite things ever. I really want this. So,
yeah.
John will be cautious. I will be reckless about my
Yeah,
excitement.
I'm excited about it because I love RoboCop, something fierce. I don't. If you said, okay, well, what do you want in a RoboCop game? The answer is I don't know. I want to walk into a room with invincibility mode on, I guess, and slowly go.
With bullets going. Bing, 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 bing.
And like I just want to do that till everybody's dead, and then occasionally grab someone by the face and just go, "Where is he?" and throw him through a
Where is
pane of
he?
glass
Yep.
before he gets a chance to answer, and have my hand turn into a cool spike.
Oh, what if they had Red from That 70s Show come back as the bad guy? That'd be
How
cool.
would he come back? He's very dead.
Yeah, he's super dead. But I don't know when this is set, right? I don't know when this is.
He could be the nemesis Robo Red.
Robo
Oh,
Red.
he's sure they made him a robot.
Yeah, nobody dies in RoboCop land. They just have.
RoboCop versus Robo Criminal.
I wonder if they'll have any of the weird commercials, or if I'll get to run over some guy who's been in the toxic waste and he just smears all over my windshield. Like, there's so many things about RoboCop I want to see represented here, and I don't think
Yeah.
we'll get it all. But
The mini game where you have to pick the right spot to shoot through a lady's dress so you can hit the guy in the nads
Yep.
on the other side.
right in the nads.
Oh yeah, they got to do stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with like particle effects and the little
And
pieces
don't
of
forget
material.
the spike that he has in his hand too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just
Doesn't he use
Yeah,
it to
it's
like program stuff too? Like stick
Yeah,
it into
it's
a
a
computer?
data spike, but somebody was like, "Hey, what if a cool spike came out of his hand to kill people?" And they're like, "Well, why do we give him that?" He's like, "No, he puts it in computers most of the time."
Oh, and if they drive it, someone in the chat mentioned the Ford Tauruses. That's what all the cop cars were. That was a big Ford tie-in. I want all Ford Taurus future cars.
I thought those police cars looked cool.
They did.
Like,
They did.
just to be honest, I think they looked really
They
good.
did look cool. It was a good use of the Taurus body and stuff. It was stupid great. I love that movie. I want to watch that now.
a lot of Verhoeven and video games happening lately.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers also got released.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How is that? The little RTS thing, right?
I don't know. I just saw it and I'm like, more games that I didn't even hear about. We didn't even talk about. But here's a Starship Troopers Terran Command game. Looks like an RTS, I guess.
Oh, I love Starship Troopers too.
I do
Those
too.
movies are so good.
Yeah. I mean, they're
They're
bad,
like-
but they're good.
They're bad good.
Yeah.
But they're properly lampooning the thing. The thing is when I saw Starship Troopers, I was at an age where I didn't know it was lampooning anything, and I was like, maybe I want to join the military.
Yeah, and Verhoeven, I've yet to see a movie of his except maybe that stripper one in Vegas. What was that called?
Oh, Showgirls?
Showgirls. Outside of Showgirls, I don't think there's a movie he's ever made that I didn't just have a great time watching. Like Total
Did you see
Recall.
Showgirls?
Yeah, I saw Showgirls. That sucked.
It's-
I didn't
it
like it.
is a hard movie to watch. I think it
Sucks. It's not good.
I
didn't
still
watch it.
don't know if I've seen all of it because eventually you just get embarrassed for yourself and walk away from it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think,
usually when they're in a pool, but
yeah,
you
and
know.
that girl from Saved by the Bell, she couldn't be more naked. It's just like it's a 90s kid fantasy movie that just I hated it. I didn't enjoy it at all. But everything else he's ever made is great. It's all great. What's Verhoeven doing now? Nothing. All right, let's move on. EA makes a tweet that gets roasted everywhere in the universe, including their own developers. Everyone's pissed at him. Not pissed at him, but made fun of him. No one likes the EA's joke about single-player games. including EA, is basically what this came down to. So here's what they said. The tweet said, they're a 10, but they only like playing single-player games. Meaning the joke is, well, can't date them. They don't like anything but single-player games. Freaking F off, EA! F off! You dicks! That's a dick thing to say. That's lame. And who knows? I don't know who your social media guy was that day. Or lady, whoever. I don't know who it is. But they're dumb, and they probably ought to have a talking to. Don't fire them. I'm not into that. But just,
They're trying to meme, get in on the memes, make the tweets, and the joke didn't land.
Yeah.
Joke super didn't land, especially with just how much single player games they have, and how like there's a lot of complaining about BioWare stuff suffering at the hands of whatever the corporate mandate is for video games and stuff like that. So
Zach,
I mean, some of the tweets, just looking down this list here, replies, they're a 10, but they made Anthem. Somebody put a ad for the upcoming Jedi Survivor single player game and said, "This you."
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves did a good one, which I really like, which is like they're a 10, but they anchor to stop the boat.
Oh yeah, they're a 10, but they
which
anchor
is like,
to stop the boat.
Crofton does that all the time, and it's like, stop the boat, then anchor. Like it's such a like, it would tear the bottom out of your boat in real life to do it. Like it just ruins the reality of it. So I appreciated that.
This one was sad though. Zach Mumbach, who used to, he said, "This is the company that shut down my studio and laid off 100 great developers because we were making single player games." Like, gosh dang, dude.
Yeah, like visceral. Like we're getting and they're making a Dead Space remake. Irony enough, they could have just made Dead Space 4 and left them the hell alone.
Yeah.
Like the big thing was that it was like EA developers were also like, shut up. You guys like
yeah, it's bad.
We have so much baggage, we're so mad at you, and then you tweet this out. Like
it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
But kind of great that they did it, because now we can all make fun of them.
Yeah.
And they've got some big single player games coming up. They've got their Dead Space remake, unless there's some multiplayer weird thing I don't know about. The new Star Wars thing, like John mentioned, these are all single player big epic experiences. Why do they talk like this? So that's what I'm saying.
Like,
some
Disco
chode.
Elysium is a single player game. It's so good. Like
It's some chode on his lunch break, and he said the wrong thing. Dummy. That's what happened.
I couldn't find it, but there was somebody who their response to him was, "I can see why you would be unfamiliar with the concept of tens."
Yeah, they don't get a lot of 10s these days. I mean, I kind of was thinking that they were maybe going to see a bit of a turnaround, because they were going to go back to what, some of these games that they've been trying to multiplayer their way through, or just do PvP games or whatever. But maybe not. Maybe there's still dipshits over there. I don't know.
So Omega 9X says in the chat, I thought they were clowning on themselves. And I'm going to be honest, at first I thought this as well, because there was a period in EA's history, it wasn't too insanely long ago, where, I mean, it was around Mass Effect 3, where it became mandated policy that any game they put out have a multiplayer component to it, which is part of the reason why it was in Mass Effect 3 to have multiplayer, is it was something that all of their games had to have. And I remember that history and thinking like, oh, it was really stupid. And and obviously they don't do that anymore. But my initial reading of the tweet was that they were referencing back to that era. But it doesn't read that way. Like, I will fully admit that while that's how I read it at first, like, I don't blame a single person for reading that and going, shut up, EA.
Yeah,
like,
no.
What are you doing?
Like, even if they're,
Well,
I mean, I realize.
Like, that's like a meme format, right? Like, they're
Yeah.
10, but they.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to be
Like,
whatever.
They didn't invent
They're
they didn't
10,
invent
but they
that
called my religious leader a sheikh.
That's good. I like that. We should reply to it. But here's what I'm saying. Like, regardless of what they said, just hate when corporate tries to be cutesy. And sometimes Xbox gets away with it and does okay. Like, they do a lot of this stuff on social media. And I understand they want to connect with, like, the sarcasm of the fans or whatever. And I also know we live in a time where nobody can tell what's real or what isn't anymore. Like, I don't know if they're being serious here, like John says. Maybe they were. Maybe they were self-clowning. Maybe they were being dicks. I don't know. I've given up on knowing. So my answer is, Maybe don't write that. Maybe do something else like single player games are awesome. We're making a bunch. Period. Like, you're done. Move past it, EA. All right.
Well, it's so the social media sphere is such a weird thing because there's like people with talent on that stuff. Like whoever runs the Wendy's account, right, is just winning every day.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's like you have the Jerry Seinfeld of social media managers running Wendy's, and then you hired I don't. Who do I want to insult?
I was like,
you hired Ted Cruz to run like the EA Twitter account. And he's like completely not funny and lame.
Yeah, he has
he's not
He's a good
comedian.
example. He has no sense of humor. That guy. So that's a good one.
Yeah. So
He thinks he's
so like
funny.
somebody, like just it's a profession, but everyone has a social media account, and I think a lot of people still discount like its importance because it also is just tweeting. So like, why am I spending $80,000 on the salary for someone to manage my corporate? Oh, that's why. Maybe it's like a minimum wage guy running the account. And they're like, "What have you done? We pay you a whole $12 an hour. This is the best tweet you can make. Our
you
reputation
don't pay me
ruined."
Wendy's money, so this is what you got, buddy.
Yeah, I heard a really good one from the Lakes. The Great Lakes has an account, like up in, the collection of Great Lakes in the country. So they have a Twitter account that just talks about tourism there and what's going on there and eco stuff and all that. And somebody was giving them shit. I can't remember what it was. And they said,
Can you imagine that the way you want to spend your afternoon is arguing with the Lakes Twitter account? You're like, I'm not really stick it to him.
yeah, I know what it was. He said, the guy was some politician. He said, yeah, no, we get it. Water is wet. And they said, actually, water is not wet. Water is water, and when it touches something else, then that other thing is now wet. But we also assume that you don't have a lot of experience in making anything else wet or something like that. It was like some sex joke. Anyway, I can't remember it. It was really good, though. And I'm too stoned on vaccines to tell it right, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, you hanging in there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Oh, the
I got it.
shingles.
I'm doing good. You know what's weird is when I started to feel better tonight, it's like I broke out in a huge sweat. And I'm still kind of like that right now.
That's
Just
how
kinda
I get when I get
wet.
sick and I get better.
Yeah.
I always have like a sweated out
You
moment.
just do like a and you just like, usually it's
Your
in bed
body's
or
at
something.
work, man. It's got work. If that was a corporate office, everyone's like rushing to meet deadlines in there.
Yeah, that's true. And
They're
then tell
trying to
lies.
build information to protect you from
Myself.
shingles in the future.
That's right. All right, so check this out. It's time for us to do a Dear Martha. We're not doing a Steam review. No. We're going back to an old magazine again, Electronic Gaming Monthly, EGM issue 47 from June 1993.
Oh, wait. I know I didn't label it very clearly, but we cannot skip this one.
Oh,
This
I
is
thought
actually
the
most
no was
important
for
thing.
EA. Did I see that?
No. Sorry. So the lead writer for Deus Ex Guardians of the Galaxy, Mary DeMarle, you always see her with the Eidos Montreal presentations, tall, red-haired lady with the glasses usually.
Yeah.
She's left Eidos for BioWare.
Oh, well, that's EA for
And
sure.
She's like associated. She's the lead narrative for a lot of games, including Deus Ex, the rebooted Deus Ex, and
Was that Deus Ex prequel? Was that a confirmed thing? I didn't know that was happening. That's news to me.
No. I mean, like Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. She was a lead narrative writer on these things.
Okay. Because
Like, she's a really big talent, and it's.
I get it. That makes sense.
I'm like, no, stay with Eidos, please, because I want Deus Ex. But
yeah, me too.
I don't know. Maybe this means the next Mass Effect will be good again.
It's a win for BioWare. So yeah, if she's working on Mass Effect, I think that's a good thing.
Next Mass Effect, probably Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Well, that's probably too close to being done for them to need
I
a
would
writer.
think so.
Yeah. I'm so curious about that game. I don't know what to think yet about it though, because part of me loves. We've talked about it before, but part of me loves Dragon Age and wants to see what they do with it next. And then part of me is like, yeah, but you kind of have such a spotty freaking history with that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want out of that.
Yeah. Anyways, so congrats to her, but also sad just because I want that third Deus Ex game.
Me too, man.
I want it.
Those games are so
in
good.
my eyeballs.
You know what else I want? Hey, Xbox, put the version that I own on my Series X. Give me 60 frames, please. Why is it locked at 30? I'll play that game again. I have it on my PC, but anyway. Let's move on. Here we go, John. EGM issue 47, June 93. It's your chance to tell us what Martha had to say. So what do we got here? You have multiples. You have Saucy Martha.
Yeah, I got 2 letters today.
All right.
We'll do 2 letters to EGM. Let me just quick eyeball and see if I'm going to do a response to see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a Martha response.
Okay.
To the first one.
Awesome. Here we go.
My dearest Martha, CD games cheaper than carts? With the Sega CD soon to be out in the stores, will their CD-based games be cheaper than the Genesis cartridges? I have heard that it is very inexpensive for a company to mass-produce the discs. It seems to me that a major cost in making a cartridge-based game would be the chips and the circuit board. And since the CD is just a piece of vinyl, games, like audio CDs, would cost only about $20. Has Sega announced how much their CD games will cost? Yours in this life and the next, Robert F.
Okay. So Robert F. thinking, it's as simple as CDs are cheaper to manufacture, therefore they should be cheaper. I have a feeling Martha's going to tell him some stuff.
It didn't turn out that way. I wanted to read this just because of that. Because
Robert!
I feel like that is I feel like that's a reality that we all think about a lot.
Yeah, it's true. But it turns out there's audio and video and all kinds of other shit, and they're not, and also they're not going to make stuff cheaper. I mean, hello, welcome to the world. Here we go. Let's find out what she had to say.
Mr. Robert, Sega has stated that the first batch of CD games will be sold for $49.99 and $59.99 depending on the complexity of the game. While that isn't a huge savings over conventional Genesis carts, Sega points out that although manufacturing expenses are down, the costs for game production have risen considerably. Now that discs contain thousands of megs of memory, games can be considerably longer, resulting in triple the development costs. Video footage, which can cost a bundle to license or create, adds even more to the cost. And the cool CD tunes can be very expensive to write and produce. Yours forever, Martha.
Thousands of meg? Is that what I heard?
I thought about fixing the typo, but I said nope.
No, let it live.
Isn't a CD only 600 megs?
Back in the day. I don't know why she was saying Martha was wrong about the size.
Yeah.
Because Sega
Martha
CDs,
was wrong. Hashtag it on Twitter.
I want to say a CD 1.0 would have been like 600. Yeah, like 499.
Yeah, it was roughly about 600 you could store. It was not a full gig. Yeah, we
didn't get that till later. All right,
Blu-rays.
That worked out pretty good.
I don't want to miss any of the games you talk about. Would you mind just like a 60-second to 2-minute?
Yeah, no, let's do it. Beau's gonna poo. Here we go. Martha number 2.
My dearest Martha.
Oh, sorry.
My dearest Martha. Start again. I want gore. I'm wondering when in the midst of time will Nintendo become intelligent and allow blood and guts and girls in bikinis. I own a Super NES, and I'm hoping there will be a game with those characteristics. Why don't you have Super NES make Mortal Kombat and make it ultra violent? Yeah. Yours in this life and the next, Stephen S.
All right, did he actually say yeah at the end?
Yeah, it's in there.
Wow.
With an exclamation mark.
Did Martha reply to this one?
There is a reply, but it's a little weird because they gave it the letter of the month.
Oh.
But we can do the reply since Beau's
all right, let's do it. Here you go.
My dear Stephen S. of Oceanside, New York, gets the Nutso Award this month by wanting the new Vice President of the U.S. in a game. We tried Stephen when we called Mr. Gore. He thanked us for the offer, but he didn't think it would be appropriate for a person of his position to be getting violent with a lot of scantily clad women. It seems that the White House frowns on such activity, at least in public. Hey, we tried. Regarding Mortal Kombat coming to the Super NES, there's no news yet, but this may just be one of the surprise titles at the January CES show. Yours forever, Martha.
Oh, I realized from that email E3 didn't start till 95, I guess. Yeah, so it still would have been a CES thing. But also, what was I going to say about that? I forgot because my brain sucks today, and it was great. It was a great follow-on to that, and I don't remember. Oh, I know what it was. We didn't talk about it. E3 announced they're coming back next year, and they're partnering with the company that does the PAX, that organizes the PAX events. Mm-hmm. So it's not PAX themselves, like it's not, Penny Arcade and all the people on that side of it, but the people that they hire to do all your back end and your show running and all that, they're going to go in with them to do E3 next year. We don't know anything else about it except June something. They have a date. And they're planning on, we're back, baby, kind of attitude. No idea what any of that means. So we have to wait till next year.
Back and better than ever.
Yeah.
Get ready.
My expectation is probably that they're going to want to try to get back to some keynote stuff. Like, they'd like to have a stage presentation by people like Microsoft and Sony. I'm not sure Microsoft and Sony are down or not, because I feel like they're all pretty comfortable in the current mode of let's do video compilations. So I don't know. I don't know how this would go, but it might be. It probably does mean, since that other company mostly does general public stuff, that this will have a bigger general public aspect to it than previous E3s. So who knows, man? PAX knows how to. The PAX people have known how to do a pretty good community-based job of this. So this might actually be a really good combination, but I'm not going to hold my breath. We'll see.
I wouldn't either. I miss it. Like, I like E3 a lot, but at the same time, it continues to be more and more irrelevant. Like, it's one of those things where you can like something, but it just, you look at it and you're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe let it go finally. Just let that one go. Let new things come in. I don't know what they'll be, but let them happen. Let Jeff Keighley run the rest of the planet, I guess.
Yes, put him in charge.
Put Jeff Keighley in charge. All right, Beau is back, which means it's time to talk about the games we played. Check these out.
That's a good question.
Wrong one. It's not a good question yet, Dr. Wiley. We'll let you know when it is. All right, check this out. Beau was correct. I picked up Gordian Quest, and it's awesome.
Yeah, son. Gordian Quest.
That game is cool.
I'm really happy to hear this because I bought it too. I just haven't played it yet.
Definitely want to give it a shot.
Time.
Yeah, you will have a good time. I think about it a lot. I want to play it now. It's one of those games that, I think what they've done is there's a bunch of systems at play, but they don't get all the way up their own butts on making them overly complicated or convoluted. It's just like random loot's going to drop. No, some may have gem slots. You're going to want to upgrade that loot. Like a very easy sort of, I almost said Nintendo. I don't know why. Diablo kind of approach to loot. And the combat is very much like the real-time part of the combat, or the actual action of the combat is very much like Slay the Spire. So we all kind of know what that is. And then the RPG elements feel fresh and new to me. And the art style and the kind of overall presentation, UI and everything, really good. Like super top-notch. I'm super into it. I love it.
And beefy campaign, like there's 4 acts, there's lots to do, and it's like fun, but like it's not making like wave. I'm like trying to figure out like why doesn't this game like make waves in the way that other games do? It seems it's like a crime. Like this is a really good game.
I think part of it is they are riffing on so many other systems and other games that maybe people think it's derivative or something, but if you gave it a shot and played it, I think you would be
It's
surprised.
good. I would say like you can adjust your difficulty level just like Torments. Mm-hmm. It's a lot like Diablo Path of Exile, but a Slay the Spire game. Mm-hmm. But also like a JRPG because you're not just one character. You're 3 characters. You have a party of 3, and later when you get maps, you can have a party of 4 if you do a raid. So yeah, it's just
It's really good.
It's fun to try and strategize and make these broken builds like you do the item science you do in Diablo, right? Like I kind of trivialized a lot of the game. I got to the end with that crazy one turn kill build. I would say it's both, it's kind of a blessing when they leave things in like that, because you feel smart, because you're like, I figured out a way to get big DPS, but it's from random drops. If I didn't get those items, I would have gone a different direction. All the classes, the 9 characters are different classes. They all play different and feel different.
Yep.
And they have subclasses. Like you literally pick from 3 pools of cards, so you can be like a Ret Paladin or
oh yeah, I loved that.
Like
so when you start,
you can be a healer druid, or you can be a transforming druid or a summoner druid. Like there's so many different build paths, so much variability that it's fun. The only thing that's a shame is like I've really focused on 3 characters and a 4th, and like I haven't touched at some of the characters because there's just so much to do.
There's a ton.
It also has the Final Fantasy skill tree, like Final Fantasy X maybe, the nodes, and you can build them infinitely, and that's fun.
That's very cool.
And you get respec points, and then you're like, I need to I rebuilt my Bard a little bit to make her more efficient, and I spent just an hour and a half picking nodes, pruning cards, and this one lets you build your deck to be as efficient as possible. So some of the upgrades are minimum deck size. The lower your deck size, the more frequently you get the cards you want for your combos. So you're just trying to build broken things. And then I'm happy to report endgame is fun. So once you get to the end, you do Nephilim Rifts.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a map. I'm up to like level 88, 5 floor maps, but they go as far as 10. And it's just like the main campaign. You just go through the maps and the nodes, and you get loot, do the gameplay loop, and then you do it. There's a challenge one where you have to get to the end, and you get these sweet items, relics that you don't get anywhere else. Like it's the whole package, guys, is in this game.
Yeah, it's real good. I
So
think
so
see, even with
yeah,
what
are
you
playing
just
as?
described, you might think, oh, that sounds like a lot of systems I have to worry about. The nice thing about the game is they're there for you when you're ready for those systems, or when you want to exploit those systems. But you don't have to go into it with that mentality. If you are just looking for a fun, let's go play, I love the feel of combat, this lets you do that. For example, when you said you pick your decks at the beginning to kind of start to specialize right away as the kind of paladin you want to be, or the kind of archer you want to be, or whatever. It's a bunch of preset cards. Now, can you go and like tweak all those cards and fiddle with them and add and remove? And yes, you can do all those things. But if you're looking to just, I want to get in and fight, it gives you all the tools to just go. And I love that about it. Because then I think you can build on it from there if you're the kind of player that like gets used to all that first and then says, oh yeah, I can go deeper here. And then you can go deeper. I just think it's a really, really well-made, game by a small developer with an incredible art style.
Oh, and it has a chrono trigger system, because you get these synergy. So when you camp, you can build your synergy, and when you play with characters, and then there's cards that 2 players, like you cast 1 card, but 2 characters burn resources, and they do like a combo thing. Like it might heal and also give you guard or something like that. Like there's these combo cards you get later from buildings. There's so many systems in this game. It's insane.
It's really good, and they are currently on sale. That game's on sale for 25% off on Steam, so perfect time to grab it if you think this sounds interesting at all.
Yeah.
Reviews are really good.
On. So what classes are you playing?
I started really basic. I started with the not soldier. What's he called? He's like
a fighter or warrior, I think.
Warrior guy, whatever he is.
Do you remember the name, like Francois?
No, but he has blonde hair and wears plate, and I can't remember.
Yeah, he's basically your standard ass warrior.
He's your standard guy. Yeah, so I picked him, and then the way that the story goes, you can kind of start building from there. But basically, I went and who was the first one I got? I don't remember now. Anyway, I went and the archer guy. So a ranger is my second one, and I've made him all about the traps and the sentries. I love that stuff. So I forget which card column I chose, but it's a big focus on like contraptions and shit like that. Those things are awesome. And they also act as barriers. So if you play a card,
like they're meat shields for your
they can kind of be a tank for me a little bit if I need it in a lane, because there's like 4 lanes or whatever it is. And then we got the wizard guy, and I forgot what I chose for him. It's been a day.
He's like a fire stone No, Force is one of them. Then I
Yeah.
think he's like got Arcane and then Fire. or something
Fire. I
like
think
that.
I went Fire because I just feel like I naturally always go Fire if there's a wizard around. That's just kind of what I do. And then the healer lady, or she's a cleric, and she's got some healing stuff, but she can also go pretty toe to toe with stuff as well. And I forgot to mention, you said this last week, but there's lots of roles in this thing, like D&D style stuff. So like
Skill checks.
yeah, skill checks and initiative checks, and it's cool. It's cool. The game is cool, and if you want to make it really hard, it's basically an Iron Man mode. Two versions of it. You mentioned it last week: roguelike and roguelike, or roguelite and like.
Yeah.
And the roguelike, if you're dead, and you're done. Light, they die, but when you go back to town, you got something that carries through. I forget what it is.
Yeah, so like Rogue Light is if you party wipe, you die.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So you can res characters. Rogue Like is you have a stable of 9 heroes you can switch out at any time. When they die, they're permanently out of your roster, and
Yeah, you're just done.
So if you get one gets killed, you're down to 8, and if a bunch get killed, you're down to 3, 2, 1. Can you finish it? And so that's like starting a new save file to try and get through a campaign that way. Like it would be an interesting challenge, for this kind of thing. So that's cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I also didn't mention is it does have a Slay the Spire mode as well.
Oh
Which
yeah,
I
where you
haven't
can
tried yet.
Yeah, you can
where
just go
it's
play.
just you start right from scratch with nothing, and you do the Slay the Spire experience. I don't know what it's like, but it has that, and it has PvP. You can queue into a PvP match.
Yeah, I haven't tried that either. That's
Which I haven't tried it yet either. But like, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's a really, really good, robust package, and
Agreed.
yeah, especially if you're sick, like. You can play the game on an easier mode where it's very casual. Like if you just want to watch TV and play the game, it's actually pretty. Yeah, or
It's
you
one
can
of
get
those, yeah.
tactical and yeah. it's
Makes
good.
makes me hope. Well, I'll get to this in a minute, but I hope it'll play on a Steam Deck. I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that's a good Steam Deck game.
I also played. Now everybody can finally breathe a sigh of relief. I played a ton of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Retro Arm Grade. What's it called?
It's the Intergrade.
Intergrade. You guys were 100% right about that game. It's great, and I really like it. Now, here's something I wanted to say about it. All the warnings about the melodramatic stuff and the kind of anime story and the dialogue between the characters and stuff. You weren't wrong that some of that stuff is covered in cheese. But I actually think it works for this, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
I don't know why it does, but it does. If they would have come out with this and said, "We've rewritten everything," and everyone is like a Oscar-winning actor portrayal of these characters with new lines and all this stuff, I don't think I don't think it's as good.
No,
that weird?
It lives on its attitude. Like it's what breathes life into it.
Like there's something about it. It makes it feel nostalgic too. Like you're playing a game from the 90s, but then in this presentation that's beautiful and just like, I want Barrett to be ridiculous, and he is.
Yeah, you want him to just out of nowhere decide to start giving a speech about saving the planet.
Yeah.
And he does, but like then it's self-aware enough to where there's even a time he does it and there's literally no one there to hear him, and someone's just like, who the hell are you talking to right now?
Yeah.
Like he's just all of a sudden like going crazy on the like, we're gonna save the planet, and he's just like he's going to 10 on it. And no one is there to hear it.
There's
and
no
How far are
back.
you now?
I got out of I'm not super far, but I blew up the reactor.
Yeah.
Got to the bar in the
Seventh
slums.
Heaven. Okay.
Yeah, and talked to people. And I think that maybe is where I'm saved. So I'm early. I'm still early.
Okay, so that's. Have you gone around with Tifa yet at all?
No, I think that's coming up.
Yeah, that's like the next, because they didn't get you all your money. You need to help change some power filters.
Yeah.
Some air filters. So the next day, okay, that's where.
That's right.
It's good to know where you are, because like even though I didn't play it, I watched a Let's Play a little bit because I was playing a different game, and I'm like, I just want to feel the music and hear the story, and
it's so good.
Just watching it again, I'm like, there's so many great moments and like touching quest. It's just getting started for you. Although like that opening's explosive, you are gonna have to do a bit of chorecore with like the side. There's some side quest areas where it starts to quiet down a little bit.
It's fine,
but don't give up on it, because then you get back to a MSQ style mission, and you're busting out the tissues, man. You're crying over something, and you're like, "Oh, Cloud, just soften up that hard shell of yours."
I will say the combat. I really like the combat system. I was surprised how much I liked it. I've been going back and forth listening to John on his streams, and him coming around to it more than he was before. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like pausing. I like picking stuff while it's not pause, but that weird super slow-mo they do. I think it feels really good to viscerally just kick ass. I think Barrett's more fun to play than I expected, so I swapped to him a lot because I really like playing him in those fights.
He yells a lot too when he's charging up his gun and stuff. Like it's
He's also where you get the victory theme for the game is through Barrett, because it doesn't naturally play the theme all that much, but every now and then when he kills something, he'll just go da 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 da.
It is pretty great. I will say, well, here's a little of Barrett for everybody.
Of course. It just had to get back up. Don't need to tell me twice. I'm going to enjoy this. That makes sense. Let's keep up the pressure. Got anything you want to say?
This thing is an hour 37 of nothing but Barrett lines.
He's so good. He's secretly like, I don't know. I don't ever hear people giving Barrett a lot of credit, but he's like low key the best character in the game.
He's the soul of the game in a weird way. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not that far, but I don't know. I find him really
He's
compelling.
the guy in the party. Everyone's depressed. Bad things are happening. He's like, listen, guys, we're friends, and we got to make he's just like he rallies everyone in a way that very few NPCs in any game do. Like, think of your Dragon Ages and your Massive. Like, there's no character that's like, listen, feel good. I know it's a struggle, but I'll carry your load.
Yeah,
that's
I'll carry
what
your load
Barrett's
for
here. You know,
he's great, and he's got an arm that's a Gatling gun, and that's badass. So,
right.
One thing that I came away with, I told John in a stream that I would bring it up tonight again. I would play the shit out of an MMO based in this Final Fantasy world. This is the one I want to grind and spend huge time in. Like, no offense to the fantasy realm, no offense to any other game in their worlds, but there's something about this aesthetic that would make such an amazing MMO space. I would play the shit out of it. It ain't probably not going to happen, but I'd love it if Yoshi P, like in a couple of weeks, did a video and said, well, good news, Final Fantasy, I don't know what they'd even call it, Retrograde 4, whatever.
It's such a unique blend of fantasy, cyberpunk, and steampunk that it's just distinctly its own thing. Like, there's definitely a lot of metal buildings and structures, but it doesn't feel like sci-fi. And it's not full of steam-powered engines, so it's not steampunk, but it's in that sort of... It's just in that middle ground in this weird, unique way that it's all its own. And they've never really replicated since.
No, I agree. It's very apocalyptic. It's very, like, in some ways, Blade Runner-y. All the stuff I love. So
the thing that it reminds me most of is maybe like Deus Ex Human Revolution, because Shanghai, there's the city under the city above, right? Like, so here it's like the people, there's the plate dwellers and then there's the underdwellers, and it's...
Oh, you guys also thought Jesse would bug me.
The first
I like Jesse.
area too. Like, that's the other crazy thing about the game is, like, you can look at Midgar and go, "Oh, this is the whole world. What a crazy big world it is," and it's a small.
It's 5% of the actual mapped out globe in the game. The
yeah, it's not. It's nothing. It's barely anything. It's kind of crazy how it all works. Like, playing through the original, like, that's the thing that has been really surprising. It's also been surprising to see how many nods to it. And, like, that's the thing is 14 is a love letter to Final Fantasy, and so seeing so many things reflected in 14, I mean, there's obvious ones. I have Cloud's motorcycle in 14. Like, that's an obvious one.
Sure.
But, like, even the gold saucer, like, going there in 7 was a treat because I'd been there in 14, you know? So, like, those things are just really, really cool. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. I would assume we would probably go to the gold saucer and Rebirth, but I don't know. For
sure. Jesse lied about being an actor there, so we're gonna get a full performance of something that she's gonna rope Cloud into.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
there's so much stuff I can't wait for Scott to see in remake.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
stick with it.
I'm
like
totally
the
sticking with it.
Honeybee
I'm in.
Inn business is just stellar. Like
Right. Yeah, I can't, like, I want you to play this whole thing because I want to hear your reactions to, like, there's definitely the serious cool stuff, but there's definitely some serious, like, funny business in this game too, and that's
I plan to finish it. I really like it so far, and the other thing I said, you guys thought I would be bugged by Jessie. She doesn't bother me. She's fine.
Great.
well,
No, yeah,
you got to
no,
get a
she's-
little further in, but yeah, I am curious to see if you stick.
No,
with
if
it.
he likes her, if he likes her now, because that's the thing is, like, one of the fantasies of this game is, like, you do get to play as Cloud, and all the women in the game kind of make a big deal out of you. So there's just like a third. They added a third one in Jessie in this one, where she, I know her story is like, well, I mean, you learn about why things are the way they are, but it's not, doesn't hurt to have someone going along saying like, "Wow, you're easy on the eyes. Come on with me and let's go do some shit or something." And you're like, "Wow, she's really nice. What a nice character." Very compliment. Like, all the characters are very complimentary to your protagonist's viewport into the fiction, I guess. And so
it works.
Yeah.
Who's the voice of the goofball, chubby guy with the? I don't know.
Badger?
Badger from.
I just assume it's Badger. Yeah, from Breaking
It's
Bad.
No,
Badger.
it really is. Yeah,
It is
it's
Badger.
100% Badger. Yes,
Yeah.
it is actually him.
Damn, that's it. I didn't look it up because
Yeah.
I was like, I'll bring it up on the show, and these guys will tell me 100% it's Badger. Of course,
I
it
didn't.
is.
I never actually. I meant to look it up. I never did. But I'm like, that sounds like Badger. But isn't
it's
his
him.
name is Badger in the game too? Is that?
No,
I don't
he's
know.
Wedge, right?
Oh, Wedge. No,
Yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah, Wedge
Yeah.
Antilles. He's Womp Rats. And all
This is
that.
not Antilles. He's just Wedge.
Okay. No, but yeah, it is Badger from Breaking Bad though.
That's awesome.
Like,
I
it sounds
always
knew I
remember
recognized
it
it.
because Wedge is a doofus in Final Fantasy, but in Star Wars he's the cool one.
Yeah.
And Biggs is a doofus in Star Wars, but he's the cooler one in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
he's like a normal Charlie Sheen. He kind of looks like.
Yeah, he looks exactly.
Oh, he
like
looks
Charlie
like he does
Sheen.
look like Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
If Charlie Sheen was a reasonable, like, normal human being, and not.
Yeah,
You
his younger years, perhaps, when he was a little less. Well, I don't know what he was doing then. Probably worse things.
No,
I have
he
no
just
idea.
really
Less
looks
tiger
like it.
blood.
Yeah,
more
less tiger
normal
blood,
human
more,
blood.
He just really looks like him, and he has the Rambo
More
bandana,
platoon.
but he's not buff like Rambo, so you're just thinking of Hot Shots. And
He's
hard
always
to
so
hit.
far running around the reactor area and stuff. His whole thing is mostly that he stinks because he hasn't had a shower. That's been his whole story, really.
Yeah. That's right.
It's not much else, which reminded me of Charlie Sheen. So it's all working out. It's great.
Yeah. No, you'll. The thing is, those characters are so nothing. I think in the original, and they
No,
you'll have
just gone through it. They give
Yeah.
them no screen time whatsoever.
they're
Like,
they're non-existent generic NPCs that are cut above just full generic, like unnamed.
Mm.
And in this one, they are part of your adventure in various ways all throughout the whole thing. And it's,
you know almost nothing about Jessie in Final Fantasy VII except she's the one that set up the bomb or like created the bomb. Like that's literally the entire backstory you get about her in the original.
You almost did we are set up the bomb or whatever. Is what I
Yeah,
was-
we are set up the bomb. That's it. That's all she did.
Um,
Like they did such a good job of making those characters stand out more and making you care about them.
yeah.
It does make me really excited for things to come. Like that's the thing. As I keep playing original 7, I keep going, oh man, this is gonna look so cool
Oh,
when they
bet,
decide
yeah.
to show it
yeah
later.
yeah.
And you know what? I know people are very precious about the stuff that's in there, but there's definitely some stuff that can go in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
There's
probably.
There's a pretty dramatic tonal shift from absolute tragedy to now we're snowboarding that is just a real 180 of a turn as far as what you're doing. And I think some of this stuff will get balanced out and told a little bit better. But yeah, every now and then I just run into a scene and I just go, oh my gosh, I can't wait. And including like some things that are just like in need of being updated. Like I ran into this yesterday and there's a moment where I'm just like, well, thank God we live in 2022 and whatever they do, they will not recreate this scene exactly as it is. It's a scene, I don't know if you remember this, Beau, where Scarlet and Tifa get into a slap fight. Now, Tifa fights with her bare hands. She spends the entire game knocking stuff out and suplexing stuff. And she gets into a slap fight with Scarlet, and I was just like, the hell is this? What are they doing? Why does this scene exist in the game? So now one of the things I'm most excited for is, okay, when they get to this part, assuming they get to this part,
What are they going to do? Yeah.
how are they going to improve this? Because sure as shit in 2022, someone's not going to go, hey, you know Tifa that's beating the crap out of all these creatures and suplexing monsters 80 times her size? Let's have her have a slap fight with a pompous, arrogant aristocrat girl. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm curious about all of those things, how they translate. I played enough of 7 back in the day that I remember this reactor stuff. It's so realized here. It's just so in your face and 3D, obviously, and it's awesome. Like, I really, really like that. I also like A, knowing that was Badger, and B, that they got him to go a whole bunch of times, because they did.
That there's a lot of
tons of it.
I heard there's a mod for the PC that removes unnecessary breathing. And
that's
I think
amazing.
that's the greatest thing, because there is a lot of scenes in that remake of people going,
yeah, lots of it.
They're like just climbing stuff, and you're like, guys, it's not that bad.
Yeah. When they were like, hey, we're going to go do a thing. Like 5 of them doing that.
Yeah.
And you know what? 100% cool with it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's because it works. The game, because there's so much love poured into that thing that you're able to go, okay, I'll stick around. Like,
It's really cool.
I had a question for you again,
go
Scott. You met Aerith then on your way back, because if you're back at 7th Heaven, that means you got separated from the party and
Flower Girl,
and met the Flower Girl.
Yep.
Yeah. And so when she gives you the flower, what was your choice?
Well, I got a yellow one.
Pay for it, or you can tell her.
Right. I didn't pick colors, did I? I chose what I was going to do with it. Did I pay? I think I paid.
Okay. All right.
Is that a problem? Is that going to?
No, that's a nice choice, because I think one is you just outright refuse it.
Yeah. I wanted to have a dumb flower on me for all my fights, and so now I have.
Yeah,
one.
I'm just curious what you did. Yeah,
because now I'm going down like a street, and 50 of those guards will show up, and I'm there with this big yellow flower while I'm fighting with a huge sword, and.
Yeah.
And I got my second.
Aren't those moments great too? Those power moments where like a bunch of guards show up, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you," and you just like swat them all down.
No, it's amazing.
Just like kabow.
And I love the
I
materia.
like when they send the dogs, and it's like activate Punisher stance, and it's like, this isn't gonna be a problem. This will be fine.
Yeah, this will be.
That's
totally fine.
actually what got me, is I spent so much time in the early game not really paying attention or thinking tactically about it, that you get to the enemies that are like the knife soldiers that are really, you're there supposed to counterattack them or use magic to knock them on their butts, because they'll just dodge your regular attacks. And I had someone in chat that was like, why aren't you using Punisher stance? It's designed to counter these guys. And I was like, okay, I tried it, and it 100% worked. And I went, oh, I guess it makes sense. They designed this combat system to be tactical.
Yeah.
And like, once I started thinking about it tactically, of like, okay, this is what I'm facing. This works well on this guy. This works for these creatures. This works for these guys. And if I activate it in this sequence, this will be an easy fight. Once I started doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, this game's really good. I like this combat an awful lot.
Yeah. It converted me on this, because I was feeling the same way. I love turn-based combat, but I thought they, in an effort to become a more cinematic presentation for their games, I feel like Square wants to go this direction for a good reason. Like, there's actually a good reason to do it. If these fights were just them going lining up facing each other, I'd be kind of annoyed. I'd be like, okay, do you have to really? I mean, I think it's the right choice for this game. I really do.
Wait till you get summons.
Oh yeah,
the summons in this game are good too.
Oh, I bet.
Like, because you just add a summon to the fight, so there's a 4th gigantic turbo monster on your team, dude.
Sweet. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that, because that was the stuff that was so impressive even back in '97 when you'd see, video of the game. You'd be like, oh my gosh, what did he just call?
In that game, there's like a 5-minute animation for Bahamut, whatever.
Yeah,
where he would show up in space and then fire a laser onto Earth and blow up your enemy. It's like,
wow.
Like, that's when Final Fantasy started. I think that was the first Final Fantasy where they were like, summons, we're gonna do whole FMV for summons.
Yeah, because 8 and 9 had also some pretty intense stuff like that. but they didn't. 7 was like the big moment, I guess. They went 3D.
Maybe. Hey, John, did summons in Final Fantasy 6 have big animations?
Maybe.
I mean, big, but it was big for like
At the time, it would have been big. Actually,
it wasn't long, but like
Just
animations for summons have been around for I think probably since like maybe even 2 or 3. Like it's been around, but like it becoming a full production is definitely a 7 thing.
Yeah.
Like 6, you got, they appeared, they did a little animation, but I feel like 7 is where they're like, no, this is a cinematic bit of business that you're gonna see.
Was the Knights of the Round from 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a long
That was
one.
like a secret one to find. It was hard to find. And back in the day when you have guides very much, it was like, did you find Knights of the Round? Where'd you find it? Yeah. And then you would have a mimic character, so you'd Knights of the Round, and then mimic Knights of the Round. And then there's some way you could cast Knights of the Round 17 times or something like that.
Yeah.
Just go nuts.
Wow.
Do the right material.
Take you a whole day
combinations.
to do
Yeah.
it.
And that's the other fun part is the materia system. It's still like low, but they'll expand in your weapons and then finding combos in them.
I love that. That's the other thing I really like. This is a purely like almost Dead Space thing I like about it. That when his sword is on his back, you see the slots and what's in them.
Yeah, you see the materia.
I love that.
Put in the,
Such a nice touch. I don't think the old one had that. You couldn't do it, right?
There were graphics that implied it was there, but it didn't reflect what was actually junctioned to it.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a very cool game.
I also like that they hand it to each other because the materia was only ever menu items.
Mm-hmm.
But like, well, you've seen this at one point. Jesse's like, "Here's a materia for you," and
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, they're actual objects in this world, and it's
Yeah.
cool." I'm like,
Yeah, they translate. I don't know. This is a good thing that they've made, and it kind of makes me mad that I fell off 7 back in the day because it is my aesthetic for sure. If you're going to make a Japanese JRPG and you're going to put it in a setting, this is the setting I want. And I think back then I was like, ew, random encounters, freaking gag me with a spoon or whatever I said in 97.
with a spoon.
I wasn't into it.
Gag me with a spoon, man.
Yeah, man. That was more 80s, I guess. But anyway, to be in that world and to feel like you're really in it like this, I think it's really something. So I'm going to keep playing. I will report back.
Yes.
Further I get. Almost beat Drill Dozer, that GBA game I talked about last week. Nothing new to say here except it's one of the most creative platformers I've ever played, and I can't believe I missed it back in the day. And if you're into that stuff, get that game. Find that ROM, buy that card online wherever you can get it because Drill Dozer is fantastic. But then I played another game on the GBA this week that I got completely hooked on, and I was playing it on my little Ambernick device, my portable one. Pokemon Pinball for the GBA.
That is a fantastic game.
It is so good.
Mhm.
And I'm not even that big of a pinball guy, although it's funny. I don't like actual pinball machines. I like video game pinball machines. And the reason I like them because you can do creative shit you can't do with physical hardware. You have to go to video games to make weird shit happen. And there's a bunch of great old cartridge or console-based stuff from the 16-bit era, even the 8-bit era, and Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Advance is so much freaking fun. And I don't even like Pokemon that much, but what I like about this game is the whole point of it is still Pokemon-like. It's like I'm trying to be good at pinball to hatch and capture new creatures, and it's got a full Pokedex with all 150 or whatever it is Pokemon at the time, and it's so satisfying to unlock one, to capture one. And you do it with the ball, which is a Pokeball, but it's also your pinball. And if I remember right, this cartridge actually had Rumble in it. So your SP, if you played it on an SP.
You could do tilt with it as well.
That's right. You could tilt it and the whole thing would shift. They map it to buttons here, so it works the same, but where I'm playing it. But it's so good, man. What a great little game that is. I got so hooked on playing that, and it's just, I can't even explain why I love it.
It's so underrated, and I'm amazed they never made another one of it because it was the game. I like you. I was like, why do people play pinball? Like, what's the point of this? It's like, all right, I hit a ball with flippers, I get a high score. Who cares? This was the first one that was really like, no, here's an objective, like go catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
And here's a way to play it and way to do it. And with all the Pokemon that were in it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually really cool. I'm seeing them in a new, like the sprites in a new way from that other game, and it looks different. And I've got a different way to catch them, and you could do some really cool things to see some really rare ones, and it was an awesome game.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that it didn't turn into an ongoing series.
I mean, it started, so there is a Game Boy Color version of the game that was before all of this. The only problem I had with that was that it didn't scroll because the hardware couldn't do it. Instead, you would hit the ball up past the roof of your screen, and then it would transition immediately to the top of the screen, and then it would do things up here. But then when the ball passed the halfway mark again, you'd be flashed down to there. It's really kind of jolting. I don't like the feeling of it. Yeah. But with better hardware or whatever, with the 16-bit era and certainly the GBAs in that zone, you could do full scrolling, the full scrolling board. And I just got completely hooked on this week. Just like could not stop playing it. So. Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Advance, 2003, I think, or 4. I don't even know. Something like that. It's very good. All right, and some news. My Steam Deck is on the way.
Nice.
After 1 year of reserving and waiting to hear, I finally heard. I know, John, you heard this week. I don't know if you pulled the trigger. What'd you do?
I didn't. I couldn't afford it. And unfortunately, and apologies to anybody that said like, "Hey, can I buy your reserve?" And I said I'd think about it. Like, I really wanted to make this happen. I really wanted a Steam Deck, and I just couldn't justify the cost post move. And so I sat there and debated and tried to find ways to justify it, and like. I just couldn't. Like, it's not going to be a device that pays for itself through streaming. Like, we're going to talk about it whether I get one or not. It's not going to pay for itself by me getting it and talking about it on here. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So unfortunately, I did just check. It has expired, so I can't buy it anymore. I went ahead and threw another reservation down on it because, like, in my heart somewhere, I'm going to get this at some point. But yeah, it was very expensive.
And they give you your $5 back, right? That you don't lose.
Yeah, it gave me a Steam balance. Like, so I paid for this reservation with the refunded money of my last reservation. So yeah, it's but it's a cool thing. And like thinking of it as a dad, as somebody who can't always be at their computer, like, and that's to me is the appeal, because like I have a Switch. I forget that I have a Switch pretty often, but that instant library is such a cool idea because I don't have to go like, all right, well, it's $60 if I want to buy into a game now, and like then I got to go through that whole process. I can just instantly have a bunch of games to have access to, and that works really well when you're having to be outside of your gaming section, which I have to be quite a lot these days. So
for me, it's things like Grim Dawn, which I'm still playing, and Rogue Legacy 2 is apparently just like perfect on there. Like, I'm so looking forward to having most of my library with me. There's still some questions though, like Gordian Quest. I don't know if that's going to play. They talked about adding keyboard and mouse support to the thing, which seems weird to me because why would I just come down here and play it? But any game that supports controller that I'm interested in is kind of on there, including these me doing these emulations and stuff to play old GBA games and stuff. I can do all that on there now too, which is really exciting. So anyway,
they even put the emulation platform on Steam, I feel like, for this purpose. And so they've
and
done
Game
a lot
Pass.
Of the work
I should have mentioned
you.
that Game Pass is an amazing service on there because it just runs like you're running. I mean, it just works. It's great. It's funny to see Valve and Microsoft accidentally working really well together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Considering
suddenly
their past,
considering their past. It's really weird. But I'm excited. It's on its way. I had to justify it as a business cost, which I know sounds crazy. But
no, that's what I do too. That's what I would have done if I had done it, but that wasn't enough to say okay.
It's not the cheapest thing. My big concern is that I waited a year, and that's 1 year that I didn't have it toward whenever they do a revision. Do you know what I'm saying? It won't be every year or anything. I know that. They want this to last like the Switch has. But there's going to come a time where they go, well, the Steam Deck 2 or the Steam Deck Junior, or I don't know, whatever they call it.
Yeah. I feel that way about Quest 2, and I'm like, they're working on 4 new headsets. I'm like,
I know you hear about that, and it's like
I'm gonna have
shit.
to buy the new Quest now. Like,
I will say it seems like the wait for the next window is not quite as long, like the current estimate. So like I said, I just tried to reserve it again. And the current estimate is, I mean, it says October 22 or later.
Yeah.
How much later, who knows? But
Right.
like, assuming it's in October or into this year, that's a lot faster turnaround than it was to get to this point. So
Yeah.
I don't think people will have to wait quite as long if they're signing up now. But we'll see. I don't know. By all accounts, it's a very good device.
Yeah, people really like it. Everyone I've talked to is like, "Oh, I'm so excited you're going to get it." My biggest worry was that Valve's had a sketchy past with hardware stuff and their support and all that, but this seems to have been a runaway like monster money success, and that's usually what it takes to get their commitment behind it. So I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, as soon as I get it, I'll let people know what's up. Oh, the only weird part about it was Steam went down as I was trying to get it, and it made everything feel weird. It's like, oh, I can't even get into the damn service to accept the thing here. And then it says, keep trying. So I kept trying. Even though they're having like a broad outage, I just kept hitting retry. I kept saying, try again. And then eventually, when all their problems cleared up, it said, oh, you've sure clicked a button a lot lately. You better come back in a couple hours. We're not sure what you're up to. I'm like, I'm up to what you're telling me to do. To keep clicking. I was pissed. But it was no big deal. An hour later, it was clear. So it's fine. John, you played Final Fantasy 7 and 14. 7, 2 7s, and a 14.
Yeah, think about that.
7 and 14.
So you played... Wait a minute, that's crazy on the math, because 7 plus 7 is 14.
Yep, look at that.
14 plus 14 is 20... No, 28.
Wait, that's crazy. So what? So tell me anything to add to the 7s?
No, I feel like we pretty much covered it. I'm having a good time going through that. I've been through some pretty big moments. I think right now I'm at the build up to the finale, so I'm nearing the end of Final Fantasy 7, which I'm excited about for a lot of various reasons. It's fun to finally knock another one out. It's been a while since I've beaten one. This one definitely took longer, but obviously there were delays as well that also kept me from playing it. But I'm really excited about beating this and moving on to 8 and seeing like that game, because for me 8 is where I started with the PlayStation era of the series.
Sure.
So I have a lot of fond memories of 8. We'll see how it holds up after having played the first 7 now and going back to it. So really enjoying it though. And I also tried a new game called, I think you've played it before, Haven.
Oh, Haven. Yeah.
And
this where you play as the couple.
Yeah, so you play as a couple stranded on a planet, on kind of like a mission to survive. I don't know if it had this option when you played it or not, Scott, but I guess they've added options where you can have it be which was the default before, which was a man and a woman, but now you can also have same-sex couples in there, so you can be 2 guys or 2 girls. The story's exactly the same, but full voice acting for both characters, different art for both characters depending on which you want to do. So that's a nice little change for this game that is definitely based around a relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important thing. So I really like it. I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but surfing around on the planet picking stuff up seems cool, and the dialogue's really good. I don't know where it's gonna go. Like, there's a part of me that's still kind of like, what are we building to? Because I'm collecting food for cooking, and I've kind of touched a cooking system, but not in depth enough to know what that's going to turn into. And so it's interesting. I want to stick with it. I just haven't had a time to dive too far into it. But it was one of the games I got off of the Steam sale and it's definitely my jam. I think you had highly recommended it to me because I think you saw it and was like, "Oh, look, it's a couple game with some RPG mechanics. John will love this."
John will love this. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Not surprised that you like it. I like the traversal stuff. Reminds me of Journey.
Yeah, it does.
And I like that. It feels really nice. And it's beautiful too. It's a really pretty game. I think it's still on Game Pass for anyone out there. It's like, I don't know. Well, try it on there and see.
Is it? Yeah. Did I buy a Game Pass game again?
I think you did, but that's okay. I don't know if it's still there. I shouldn't say.
What are you gonna do?
I shouldn't say because I don't
buy a Game Pass game.
You got it on sale though, right? It's like half off.
I think I checked though. Actually, let me look because I was pretty sure that I looked. Maybe I didn't.
I don't. That's where I played it, but that doesn't mean it's still there.
I know it used to be because I had it for a while. I think maybe even installed, but I'm not seeing it.
It was a day one thing, but I think maybe that was 2020, so it's been a bit.
Okay, good. I don't think I bought a.
Yep, there it is. $24.99, and it's no longer Game Pass, so you wouldn't have been able to play it there. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I feel a lot better.
Good. That is a really cool game. Good recommendation. Beau, you finished the campaign in Gordian Quest. I didn't know you finished it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Finished the game. I'm adding game for the campaign mode.
Nice.
Nephilim Rifts.
Yeah, I want to hear how that goes next week. I want to hear more about that. All right, so we got to get into this whole VR chat thing. Beau had sent us some stuff all week about weird interactions in VR, and I'm so curious about this. What'd you do?
I got my headset back from my mom. I was like, oh, sweet, finally. Like, there's been a slight depression over playing flat screen games versus VR games because, like, I don't want to do it all the time, but I missed it. So I was like, sweet, let me get back in here. And I don't know. In most games, you have to get up or swing around. And I was like, let's check out this VR chat thing. I just want to sit and have the headset on and see what's going on in this VR chat business.
Yeah.
And for the first little while, it's just fun being in VR. So it was just kind of this casual, like, you log in and you're in this private world. And what am I doing? What's going on? And you're trying out avatars and stuff. And it's like, it's a social media app in a way. There are games in there and there's a way to play games, but like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm sort of exploring it. And then like, I'm figuring out it's very Second Life-like in that it's basically player created worlds and player created avatars and you just hang out. Like, it's called VR chat, but it's kind of fun. Like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm like a weird monkey. And now I'm a Warhammer 40K Marine. Like, it's just like this weird immersion that happens in there. And anyways, then, you start going into public worlds and meeting with people. And that's when it's like, it's just a weird experience.
Some of this is so strange. I'm looking at some compilation videos. Is it okay? So Beau found this video. It's been since then nobody can do what this person did, but they were all running around in kind of a VR thing where everybody's kind of weird looking and different characters, and now everyone's talking, and then suddenly one of those giant ships from Warhammer 40K appears above everybody, and a voice is up there going, "You will fall to the Emperor's needs," and then he nuked the place.
This game is very Second Life, right? So basically, you can make your own worlds, you make your own avatars, and those avatars can summon animations. And some of them, like that, was an animation from an avatar that caused the whole world to change for other people. So there's this huge amount of creativity that's involved in the game. The thing about Second Life always kind of had like a skeezy reputation, just because it was kind of janky. But this is, look. I'm not even sure how I was going to say this or talk about it in my sort of mini essay on what this is. This feels like the internet when the internet was new.
Interesting.
So when you were talking about meta, when you were talking about using meta with, I guess we were with Dan Patterson for CBS on that, or when we were talking about using meta, and we were like, okay, that's nice, it's interesting. It's like, watching a video of it, although you're showing some pretty good clips right now for the video, watching a video of it doesn't really relay the sense of feeling like you're in a new frontier when you're in these social spaces. Yeah. Because anything can kind of happen, and you don't know when it's unpredictable. And you can go for long periods of like, I'm exploring and nothing too exciting. But let me tell you about like I was about to give up on VR chat, right? I was like, okay, so there's kids around here, and the kids are saying dumb shit. Like
we should say real quick. We should say
I
VR
with
chat.
Bukkake Bandit for a little while, and that wasn't that great.
But we should say VR chat is an actual piece of. That's the software name, not just a thing you do. Like it's an actual product. VR chat.
Yeah, the
right?
VR chat is the name of the thing,
right?
And it's still very niche, but like it's essentially you can use Unity to build a game world that people can. You can make it private, you can make it invite only, or you can make it public, and they can create their own instances of your world if it's public. And then you make your own avatar. So, there's a lot of girl avatars with dude voices, a lot of gender exploration in there, and it's like it's actually kind of this inclusive place where it's like it's safe. Like
That's
you can
fun.
you can kind of do that, and it's you can just kind of explore what it means to just be something other than what you are in this kind of interesting way, and I think there's a lot of fascination behind that here. But no, what ended up happening was, so I have a Megatron avatar. I would go around as Megatron, and I was using my principal voice to mask my voice, was because I'm kind of shy. I'm a mute. So mutes are people that don't really like to talk because I'm pretty shy about talking, and because I'm still new, I guess, I don't know. So I was like, oh, I'll sound like Megatron, and I'll just be like, get me Energon cubes, and so that's kind of what I was doing, and so I went to this one world where it was. So one of the common types of worlds is a place where it's like an anime dance video. So you trigger a thing, and then your character dances automatically, and other people watch the dance video and cheer you on. Yeah. So into this world where there's like 40 of them, 40 like people logged into this world. Now I'm Megatron, but everyone else is like a 1 foot tall like anime girl. Yeah. Like everyone's small. I feel like a transfer. I'm looking down. I'm like, hello. And then one of the little anime girls comes up to me and says, hey, you Gorath. And I look down and I go, hello. And the girl's like, would you like to have this dance with me? And it was like clearly a feminine voice. Like it was like, and I was like, I was so flattered. Like it was a social. I'm like, someone wants to dance with me, and I'm Megatron, and some like new. So I'm like, okay. And then once the number was up, they're like, come here, and then they showed me how to get on the square to start the thing and push the, like it was like a niece showing like I felt like a dad who's like had a child showing them how to do something because they're a boomer and can't do it. And then we did a dance video together where I was Megatron and she was the anime girl, and then there was a whole bunch of anime other girls, and there's a few like badgers in the crowd, and they were all cheering me, but everyone was like 1 foot tall. It was like the weirdest thing, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. That was like an interesting like thing that happened in this place that was like a weird thing, and I was like, okay, thank you for that, goodbye, and I moved on to the next world because it wasn't exactly my favorite activity, but like it was just kind of fun. And what you kind of do is go on these like pub crawls of worlds where you're looking around to see just like what kind of interesting shit's going on. And next thing you know, 5 hours flies by, and you're like, oh man, I had a lot of fun. And one aspect of it though is the public rooms are kind of a shit show, but there's a lot of private rooms. And I know that sounds grody, but I mean, this chat channel is a private room. It's just the three of us. Someone can't jump in, and so like there are like probably cool events or neat things to do. And I got this idea. So you were showing some of the Spider-Man stuff. So there's a pretty cool Spider-Man world where you can get Spider-Man avatars.
Ooh, John's perked up now and listen to this. So okay.
You can, and it has like janky, but it has janky web slinging mechanics. So you can actually hook onto the building and swing through the buildings. And I was like, and the room holds like 20 or 40 people. And I'm like, wouldn't it be fun if we could all just do like a pub crawl, like for our listeners or something? Like everyone just get into the Spider-Man world and jump around like a 40 Spider-Man. Like there's this kind of like, there's this nugget of like cool, fun internet interaction that I'm really interested in. I don't know. Like I just, you know how you feel? I think it's how you feel when you see something, you're like, I want to draw it. So when I'm in VR chat and I see something, I'm like, oh, I want to make a core world. Like, let's make a world just full of pictures of us. Let's do it. John, Scott, and Beau avatar. Like, that's probably a lot of work, but like, I get inspired to be like, I want to make things. Yeah. And like, one of the places that are cool is a nightclub scene, and I'm like, oh man, like I started my own instance, and I sent you video playing the There Will Be Dungeons one, but like I went out dancing for a bit, You know, like there's these nightclubs and there's this people DJing. He's like, "How's it going, everyone?" And there's all these like weird avatars all dancing, and I'm like, I'm in a nightclub. My ears are bleeding. Like it's so loud. And like, I don't know. Then you know what it channeled was when I played Final Fantasy 14 and I was like barding and not doing the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the game. I'm like, I want to like do something performative in this space that is like a new frontier, right? Like there are all kinds of people that are in this area, and it's like, you know, everyone knows what internet is nowadays, so it's like, it's so last year, like internet, everyone's going to YouTube, but you get this kind of feeling of like, oh, there's like a limited audience of people in the know who like will hang out in a virtual space like this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting in that way. So I've kind of done not much else this week besides play Gordian Quest, and I streamed some Heroes, but I've mostly been playing VR chat. And you know, the way you hear people talk about VR chat is like, oh, I know someone who plays VR chat. That's all they do now. Yeah. So it's kind of the same talk as people were having in the World of Warcraft days. Is like, oh yeah, I have a friend who plays World of Warcraft. He plays it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's you know, but it's still kind of janky, and it's still kind of like nascent, is what it feels like. But it's exciting.
Yeah.
And
no,
so
I've definitely felt this a couple of times. I haven't used VR chat though, and it sounds like Insanity Town, and I kind of want to check it out.
It's honestly up your jam with the like, because you know how you like weird things, like you'll draw a guy but he'll have a giant nose, or draw a mountain made out of toenails or something. Like there's definitely that like level of Scott humor when you see sometimes a weird avatar walk in, and you're like, why is I'm struggling to think of an example, but like, why is there a giant like a crocodile man? Like you'll be having a conversation with a crocodile walk in and be like, hey homies. You know, it's like, it's just like, I think this is what makes the meta thing, the metaverse, and you know, Zuckerberg's presentation, everything looks cuddly and Care Bear and like corporate, like it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But VR chat's like, it's like actually like a fever dream sometimes, where you're just like, oh my god, like what is this place? It's full of weird interactions and weird avatars. So and you can play on the PC. So, but I know we sold a lot of VR headsets with all of our VR talk. It'd be cool to get our VR heads in, and anyone else to do like, I want to do like a room crawl where we just get like a whole pile of us, and we all get the same avatar, maybe go room to room. I don't know.
You can flat screen it. It's not it doesn't require VR. It's probably a better experience in VR, but
and it's free to play, so like no one has to buy anything. You can just join.
We should totally do that just for laughs. I would love that.
Yeah, like I want to do a Spider-Man room, and I want to do. There's actually some games. There's a PvP shooter game in there. It's just like laser tag.
Oh yeah, they got a whole find avatars. They got relaxing vibes, whatever that means. That's probably some of that singing or dancing, and then play a game. There's a party room. I'm just looking at the screen here.
There's like a ton of worlds. I went to a Warhammer world. There's a Stormtrooper battalion like battle reenactment scene apparently in VR chat. Like there's a whole pile of like these communities that do like weird and interesting things in there. So it's a lot of fun, man. Like, and one thing I have to say too is that like Quest and PC users, Steam users are a little segregated, at least in terms of the amount of functionality you have. But even if you aren't connected, I think we can still share the same rooms. You just can't use all the worlds. The high fidelity falutin worlds need to be with Airlink or Direct Link.
Oh, I see. Or straight out of
like you won't see all the rooms that are available if you're on Quest only.
Mm-hmm.
Just something to keep in mind for everyone. But it's I don't know. I'm just enjoying it, man. It's like
I think that's great. Oh my gosh, I think I just witnessed somebody doing something nasty in here.
Yeah. So we were talking about ERP in Final Fantasy 14. ERP is a huge thing in VR chat, but it's only there if you seek it out. It's not available in public places. Obviously, if there's a real girl around, or actually even if there isn't a real girl around, like there was one room I was in where someone had a sick ass, like very hot woman, like anime woman, but like just voluptuous, but also really well drawn, like really artistically well done. and everyone was like, "Yo, your avatar's so sick! Oh my god, are you a girl?" But it was like it was a mute, so whoever it was didn't talk. She wrote with a pen in the air about what she was writing. So who knows? But she also had there's full body tracking packs that you can get now where you hook your waist and legs up. So she had the full body motion. So usually it's just your hands where your controllers are and your thing. But if you have full body motion, you can do full body thing. And there's even a mouth tracker you can get so that your avatar speaks.
Oh my lord. Okay.
But you have to have a Vive Pro that you connect it to it. But there are like people that are like super deep invested in the full avatar experience. And it's kind of crazy when you see some weird cartoon character that's blinking at you, talking to you and reacting like a real like interactive cartoon. It's actually just a lot of fun that everyone can have with each other. And yes, there is a sex scene and there are people doing ERPs and cuddles are a thing. There's you see a lot of people are like, I just want cuddles. Let's watch a movie and cuddles, like postings and stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and there's like a bunny guy humping on a bunny lady in here.
Yeah, and then there's just like gross kids that are in there, like they're Barack Obama. I'm in this conversation with this person with a hot avatar. One guy turned into Barack Obama and started humping the avatar a lot. And then jizzed LOL1 or LOL Tyler 1 emojis, which was actually really impressive because it was super well animated. You're like, this is brain-blowingly awesome. But also it's like weird. But that's like a public room, right? Like there's safety controls where you can kind of turn off that shit.
Well, there's some there's some weird physics in here. Somebody's in here in a bikini and their butt is constantly jiggling, just a constant butt jiggle. So could I go make like cartoon versions of my own avatars if I wanted to? And like import them in here?
So here's the thing. It's in Unity, which is kind of incidentally I've been, trying to start learning in Unity. So I was like, oh, interesting. But yes, if you can, I think you have to build in Blender or something. Like you have to make it a 3D model. But yes, I think you could take your art and skin it over a model, upload it there, and become like one of your crazy like avatars. Like you could put them in the game completely. Yes, like that's what I mean, where it's like it feels like a frontier of excitement where we can live in the video games now. It was just really exciting, even though like sometimes, like I said, it's kind of boring finding worlds and I'm not in there with anybody. I'm just exploring it on my own. So, finding like that right community or social circle is kind of tough.
Yeah.
And, but it's still just an interesting, fascinating experience so far. So it's like, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, it's like Second Life. It's probably just full of gross people and not that interesting. But when you're immersed in it, it feels like, wow, like there's something kind of special. And I think it's the emergent social interaction that like tickles your brain in a pleasing way where you're like, what kind of weird thing's gonna happen? Like, when you go, it used to be you go out on the weekend and like, you never believe what John did at the club last night. It was crazy. Gonna predict, like, and I guess as a 40-year-old, I don't end up in those situations where exciting things happen that much.
Yeah. No, I feel you. That's
so
interesting.
There's kind of this like fun. It's fun. It's just fun mode.
Unexplored territory in some ways. It's interesting.
Yeah. So I love it. So let's play some VR chat.
I'm in.
Chat room, go buy headsets or get familiar. I want us to do like a core pub crawl.
Let's do it.
And maybe even a core dance party. So there's some nightclubs in there. We could take all of our music and stuff that we own the copyrights to, and maybe other stuff, and just like we can stream it on Twitch and we can just for one night only, or like do like a full event celebrating core or something like that.
That'd be fine with me. And plus, like the fact that you don't have to have a headset to get in there is actually a big plus. So, and
like there's limited space, so we'd have to make it like a patron event. Like, sorry everyone.
Is there limited space? Like you can't have
yeah, rooms can have only as many as 40. 40 is the soft cap, 80 is a hard cap. So, but
we could do a first come first serve kind of thing.
I've only got 15 people on the V Rising server as a max, and that's been enough. So I don't know. For the people who can't join in, that's why I'd put the stream on, so at least you could participate in some way. I haven't thought about the logistics of it too much. I just had the fantasy in my head of us all going core, just like the theme song, and us all just going crazy and have alligator avatars and weird shit. Just our own version of a nightclub, which would just be weird, goofy, gross stuff.
Yeah,
and not well, you can wear whatever avatar you want, but
Yeah.
I'm picturing like goofy avatar.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime shit in here, for sure.
There is, and because people A, like anime, and B, it's that's what's available that's easily producible. Like there's Vroid Studio on Steam that's free that makes anime avatars. Like just the tools to do that stuff are widely accessible.
Yeah.
Like, because I would definitely love to have something not photorealistic but stylized, not anime.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm at the point where I'm like, the avatars I get are cool, but I'm like, I think I need to make my own for my own self-expression on in some way.
I want to make one. Some of it's crazy, like super realistic looking. Like
yeah. Like there's a Final Fantasy 7 remake. Well, there's a whole Final Fantasy avatar world.
John's
where
in.
So I could play as Barrett. I have Barrett, Cloud, and Tifa as avatars, and they don't animate like they are the avatars ripped from the game, so they're the literal avatars.
Yeah, they pull out
but
those.
there isn't a lot of animation features on them, but they look pretty sick. Yeah. And there's the Warhammer one. Spider-Man is one I found. Oh, I also have the Gurren Lagann super robot, where I can turn into a mega like giant avatar that's too big for anywhere.
In some ways, it seems like they're making Roblox for VR.
It is like that. Like it's in Unity, so you can program a game. I just think there's limitations on how much can actually run within the VR chat client. So you can't make full on games. But there was a world that was an FTL game where everyone's kind of in a different room.
Yeah.
And like someone has to control the doors.
Oh,
There's a fire.
Fun.
There's There's and so like. And there's like holes that open up in the ship, and so someone's got to patch the holes, and you're getting attacked by ships outside of the spaceship. So I haven't really dug into that, but there's so much in this thing because all the content is user generated. So users are making worlds. Stanley,
I don't know why. I just found one of a guy named Stanley who's peeing in the corner, and it reminded me of John. So I'm going to put it in the chat.
For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. Weird. Here, it's in Discord, John, so you can see it. Just
I saw it on the screen.
Oh, you saw it on the screen.
There he is. There he is.
That's him using his bardic ways.
Yeah.
I'm very. I would say it's not that I necessarily recommend it or this is a good game, but I am like positively. My interest is piqued and I'm inspired and intrigued by what VR chat is, and it's becoming more and more popular. So I was checking out it's actually has a high concurrent, like in the couple 100,000 user rate, I think, on Steam charts.
Oh wow.
So like, and it's trending towards growth. So as more and more people get VR headsets, more and more people are in there. Like this is sort of, if you're looking at like a trend of some kind, like this is tracking very positively as a thing. I know people are down on the metaverse and stuff, but having played all week in VR chat, I'm kind of like, no, not 100,000, for like in the 20 to 30,000s. I was
still,
way too
it's a
generous
lot.
with that. But there's a lot of people on there using it, and it's trending up over like the past year. It's just like,
I've always said everyone wants to say that it'll be Meta/Facebook, or it'll be Google, or it'll be Apple, it'll be somebody else where this metaverse thing comes from. I think it comes out of weird shit like this. Like the metaverse is no one's ever going to want the corporate one. They're always going to want this hacker shit.
Well, the one that allows for the creativity, right?
Yeah.
You sort of look at Facebook and it's like, oh, they're going to... This has safety tools too, but they're not going to let you... It's the user-generated content. Yeah. Literally, all of it is made... There's some people that are just professional VR chat content creators that build things that people fund on Patreon and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is kind of awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Interesting for sure. Gameplay, it's not really
gameplay. Yeah, there's no like the games are all jank, but there's potential there.
Yeah,
for a fun sit down game that's as good as Gordian Quest or Final Fantasy 7, or that you'll want to sit, get into that world, play with other people, and it'd be a sick experience.
Yeah, I agree.
It's coming.
The potential is there for sure. All right, well, there's that. Hey, you guys want to hear a mashup from Jamie? This is real good.
Yes.
Here's the problem, though. Okay, so the term or the title of this one is Moth Gun, and we did voting once again for it. Votes were flipped from last week. Only 19% believe I said it. 39% say Beau, and right up above that, John with the winning number at 42%. So we're about to find out who said it. How'd you guys vote on this?
I went with John, I think.
I voted for myself on this. I like mods, so I can see myself.
It's also like the least salacious title we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually the thing. Usually when it's like, dripping buckets of poo, I probably didn't say it.
That's what makes it kind of interesting. So it's funny that we have one that's just like Moth Gun.
Yeah.
Not a criticism, Jamie, if you're listening. Just it's fine that you titled it that. It's just not.
Maybe
it's very, it's like who said Count Chocula?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. But maybe during the actual playback here, we're going to hear some dirty way of using Moth Gun. I don't know. But
I'm sure it'll be clean and well thought out.
I'm sure it will be. So here it is. Yeah. Enjoy it, everyone.
I'm the girl. I look down. There's my boobs and like on my utility belt, and I'm just like, holy shit! And I got these sweet gloves, and I'm like, I'm a space nun.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at Ryu's wiener. Hold on. Why do Russian guys have Asian accents? Ask the chat.
I don't know. I'm trying my best.
Stumbled on Australian in the middle of that.
What was that?
Oh my lord, dude.
It's been a while since
that was every accent in like 3 words. That takes effort.
Oh, okay. I found it. And why? Oh, what is she doing to his? Okay, I'm done looking at that page. All right.
Did you know you can use your feet for that?
I didn't know that, and now I do, but only in cartoon world, I guess. I don't know. All right, moving on.
Oh, they do it in real life too.
That's wonderful to know. Stick the meat right in their face. Wave it around. Wave the meat in their face. I should probably be playing that, but instead, all of my dopium requests. Dopium?
I thought you meant it. It was so good. I was like, yeah.
I need more dopium crystals.
I meant dopamine requests from my brain.
But I like dopium better. I think we should stick with dopium.
Oh, I'm so stupid. When I have my holes, we talk about them here. We like to bring out my holes on the show and show everybody my hole. It didn't happen, so it got up on stage. What's his name going, "We are so happy, wee wee poo poo," and told everybody. That's terrible. Nobody tell Patrick what I just did.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
I've got a vampire turned into a bat and crawled up my ass. Can you pull it out for me? It's stuck up there. Won't transform.
Where? Show me your ass. Let's see it. Let's get that thing out of there. F everybody and their clowns. Screw them. I don't know why I'm giving everyone a thumbs up. All right.
F everyone and their clown.
Hey, that's a pretty good sand person. That's not bad. Oh my gosh. Well, now I'm a little worried about you.
Like, I'm excited about the impression, but I'm also scared for my friend.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm smiling.
When I used to do it, I'd just go, or. That's how I used to do it.
Gotta breathe in. What's the kryptonite of Godzilla?
Mothra.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe if I had a moth gun, that should.
That's how he translated it to Beau. In his head, Beau was like, "Well, I wouldn't have a Mothra. That's ridiculous. I'll have a gun that shoots moths."
Oh man.
Forgot about that.
Oh, I completely forgot. That's half the fun of the game is not trying to find it and confirm it. But
Damn. Yeah, it makes sense though. A gun that shoot moths, that'd be sweet. You can make that in VR chat.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And also, we were wrong, John. It wasn't you. I love it when
I know.
Have we had a winning
I was
vote?
tickled by it though, so that's something.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
That was a nice compliment coming from
Jamie does amazing work on these. Huge thanks to Jamie.
Yeah, holy crap. It's a lot of work listening and marking all that stuff.
Oh, it's so much work, but we love that he does it, and we're grateful for that. If you would like to be grateful for the show, there's one great way to do it over at our Patreon, patreon.com/core show. We had a really great month last month and added new people. Love seeing new faces. Do you want to be a new face? Hop in there. Check it out. Lots of levels, lots of good stuff. Patreon.com/core shows, how you support your favorite video game podcast. And that's us, by the way. Frogpants.com/core is our website. Talk to the core at gmail.com if you'd like to talk to us. And CorePod on Twitter. That'll do it for us. A reminder, normally we do these on Thursdays. Today's Friday, day late because I was having a reaction to vaccine. But usually it's on Thursdays, and it's usually at 5 p.m. So if you want to be here live, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, at twitch.tv/frogpants. That's going to do it. Oh, John, we never tell people where you stream all this Final Fantasy stuff, so tell them where your damn thing is, will you?
My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/craftlessrogue.
Nice. Craftless Rogue. Okay, everybody? And then, Beau, you're always streaming over at, is it Beau Schwartz now, or is it still Gorath or Gaforath?
Beau Schwartz.
Okay.
My name.
Gaforath.
Because it used to have this cool name with a 4 in it and everything. It was
Well,
like-
He still plays the video.
To play the
for it, which is
video,
great.
according to my intro video, that's the actual URL.
that's amazing. Never change it. Keep it the way it is always.
People love it. They're always like, "Oh my god, I love this." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
before
it's all John. John, it's like I hired a professional to do it. I couldn't ask for a better voice guy.
Yeah, he's a good, nice guy.
You should do movie trailers, John.
I agree.
You'd
You
kill
should,
at it.
John. You should.
Okay.
I can do the
I
low
will.
guy voice.
I will. I'll just let him know. I'll call up the movie trailers people and be like, "Hey, I think I could do this. Give me money and I'll talk for you."
Well, on that note, talk for me some more with your words of wisdom as we close the show out. What do you have?
All right, let's go over the games we talked about today with the old lady. Everybody, thank you. You're stuck with it to the very end of the show, so we're going to just go over any games in case you thought that sounded good, but you forgot what we were talking about because you were too busy on the Twitter and watching a movie while you're listening to a podcast. So first up, Scott played Gordian Quest, a game about a dog, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is... that's a lot of numbers for a final thing. Drill Dozer for the Game Boy Advance, because Scott's old. Pokemon Pinball Game Boy Advance, which is even older. And he's got a Steam Deck coming his way, so congratulations to him, son of a bitch. I played Final Fantasy 7 and 14, that's a lot of numbers, a game called Haven, and it's about two young people in love. Beau finished Gordian Quest, and then he spent a lot of time in a porn room, as far as I can tell, with a VR headset on his face in VR chat.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what he did.
That killed me for some reason. The sex place. Or porn place. What'd you say? Porn place? Whatever you said.
I don't know. That's gone.
I don't either.
Whatever
It's gone now.
whatever fever dream just happened, I don't remember what I
It'll
said.
show up in a mashup and we'll all vote on it. Beau, any final words?
I think John might be an energy vampire.
Yeah. He might be.
Oh no!
Wait.
That's a bad thing.
No, well, that is a bad thing, right? Sucks the energy out of everything. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
it's
have
a bad
that.
thing.
It's not a. I know it's a bad thing, but I just mean because Scott's like 2 words of wisdom, and you're like, okay, well, hang on, let me do Martha again and rattle off all the names. I'm like, that's an energy vampire move, you know, like that. That's it. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows, and I'm like, oh, that's definitely from Colin's playbook.
Oh, that's too good.
But I loved
Colin.
it. Don't change it. It's
Yeah,
not a
don't change
criticism,
it.
But
All right.
it's just my words of wisdom.
Those are good. Very
Beware of
wisdomy words.
vampires.
Beware of all the vampires of any kind. That's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for us. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll be back.
gonna do it
This is
for
the end
us.
of the show when we do our accents
That's
at the
right.
very end of the show.
Next time you hear us.
Thank you for listening.
Next week, I will not be suffering from the effects of a stupid vaccine that freaking wrecked me. But shingles is worse, so I'm glad I had it, I guess. Anyway, so come back next Thursday for more. That'll do it for us. Go play a video game. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Gonna throw your sword at him? Let the man with the gun go to work.
Go to work. Y'all want to go to work?